Vice Mayor Shelton?
Yes,
I'm sorry, Mayor Shelton.
that's okay. Present.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Here.
Commissioner Cruz?
Here.
Commissioner Turkin?
Present.
Commissioner Kelly is absent. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Maylee. Pastor Espinola from Calvary Chapel, Boynton Beach will lead our invocation tonight. Then Commissioner Cruz will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all stand for the invocation and pledge, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you today, and we give you thanks for this wonderful day that you have created. And as we engage in important discussion on the things that impact the wonderful city of Boynton Beach, Lord, I lift up the mayor, every city official, Lord, everyone that is within the sound of my voice and every agenda item that we have, Lord, that you would give us wisdom, Lord, that can only come from you, that we would be good stewards of the things that you give us. So every conversation that we have may be full of the love that can come from you. And we also just ask that you help us steward every agenda item in such a way that we would honor you with our ways. And we ask that your will be done, Lord. So we lift this time up to you, and we look forward to what you're going to do. It's in your name we pray. Amen. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We are now moving on to the agenda approval, additions, deletions, and corrections. Let's begin on my left with Commissioner Turkin. Do you have any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to add an item after 3B, 3C, to have a quick discussion regarding the Boynton Forest and the Nichols property.
I second that.
I'm good.
So we're good to amend that, okay? Commissioner Cruz.
The only thing I want to add is, and I do agree with Commissioner Turkin, I
Good.
do in addition want to add community support funds, which I have the Exhibit A here.
Okay.
That's it.
I'd like to add a discussion, Mayor, because we have a meeting scheduled for Tuesday, September 16th to pass our budget, but that's going to be in direct conflict with the county's meeting. So we need to move it to the 17th. It's also possible that we may not have a quorum depending on how many of you guys sign up to go to the IEDC conference in Detroit. So we need to get an idea of who's going to that conference, whether we'll have a quorum, and whether or not the 17th, which is a Wednesday, is going to work, because we may have to schedule it that Thursday or Friday when you guys get back. And that conference is scheduled from September 14th to the 17th. So I'd like to add that item for discussion amongst you guys.
Any way we could do that for the next meeting and maybe get some options? Because isn't it September?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
September.
Yeah, I mean, if we can do it sooner, it would be helpful, because we're trying to
Legislative
plan.
break.
Okay.
I only imagine it taking a few moments. I'm okay with adding that today, maybe after 10B,
Calendar then.
under regular agenda.
Okay, so you want to make it 10C to discuss it there?
Fine by me.
Yeah, you said under regular agenda, you want to, oh, hold on. No, it would be further
So
than
we
that.
added
Yeah,
item 10C,
yeah,
right?
10C to
10C.
discuss the September conference. Okay. Okay. If there is nothing else, may we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
moved.
Second.
Commissioner Cruz made the motion and Commissioner Turkin gave the second. All those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The motion passes unanimously. We will move on to informational items by the members of the City Commission. Let's begin with my left, Commissioner Turkin.
Just have received dozens and dozens of emails regarding the Nichols property. Had a great conversation with Jessica Namath as well, and look forward to that discussion. Thank you.
I too have received many emails and phone calls and had numerous discussions with residents on that same issue. Go ahead, Vice Mayor Hay.
No, I too have received numerous emails and conversation. You can tell by the people that are present here tonight. And but I would like to say that we did do a mental health dedication of a bench at Sarah Sim Park, which was phenomenal. Didn't have a large crowd, but we were there. Also, I'm looking forward to the tour on tomorrow of the Boynton Beach, Heart of Boynton building that was just completed, was 99.8% completed. And that's going to be a good crowd of some of our county commissioners, and I'm looking forward to that. Thank you. That's it.
Commissioner Cruz?
Same for me. I've received hundreds of emails with regard to the Nichols property as well, and I have done some research with our legal team to find out more information about it. Thank you.
Great. We will move on to announcements. The first one is in regards to the system-wide free chlorine flush. If staff will come up and do the announcement, please. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Josh McDermott, Deputy Director for Utilities. So this is an announcement of a system-wide free chlorine flush of the water distribution system. Excuse me. To ensure the potable water delivery to customers remains of the highest quality, the City of Boynton Beach Utilities Department will be performing a system-wide free chlorination flush for routine maintenance of the water distribution system from July 3rd to July 24th, 2025. And if you have any more, or if there's any questions, you can contact our Water Quality Division at 561-742-6964.
Josh, does that include testing at Denson Pool, that those waters there?
Could you repeat the question, please?
The testing that you're going to be doing, does it include the John Denson Park, the pool that the kids are swimming in?
No, this has nothing to do with the swimming pool.
What about the water that they drink there?
Yes.
Okay.
This is, yeah, for the water distribution system, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. The next announcement will be about the Palmetto Greens Park. Can we please have Marvelous, Division Director of Recreation and Parks, come up for this announcement, please?
Hi, good evening, Commissioners, Mayor, City Manager, Deputy City Manager. My name is Marvelous Washington. I am the Director of Recreation and Parks Division. The City of Boynton Beach Recreation and Parks Department will be holding 2 upcoming community meetings to discuss the redesign of Palmetto Greens Park. These meetings will offer an important opportunity for members of the community surrounding the park to share their ideas, concerns, suggestions, and about its future. The meetings will be held at 6 p.m. on Thursday, June 5th, and Thursday, June 12th at the Carolyn Sims Center, 225 Northwest 12th Avenue. Light refreshments will be served, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. Residents are encouraged to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're moving on to 3C, which would be the forest parcel.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak on this item. I want to start off by thanking staff for everything that you guys do. And, you know, I know we're here to discuss the Boynton Forest, the Nichols property. And I understand staff's approach on, you know, looking to do what's best for our budget, right? And I want to say for myself and hold myself accountable that I did not verify the importance and the impact of this property and what it means to our green space, what it means to environment and endangered species. In an ideal world, I'd love to say we never get things wrong or act too hastily, but that's not the reality. Mistakes happen, and we must learn from them. To that end, I'd like to thank all the residents for your emails, your concern, and illuminating this issue and how important this property is. As we know, overdevelopment is a huge issue in Florida. I want to express my deep gratitude to Jessica Namath for working with us and collaborating us and utilizing the term of, carefrontation instead of confrontation, and working as a community to address this issue. Your willingness to educate, communicate, and partner with us has been invaluable, and I'm deeply grateful for your efforts along with the rest of the community. Which brings me to my next topic. Obviously, there's a lot of, I've seen a lot of pictures, a lot of videos of potential endangered species, here, let alone the lack of green space. So I think what would be fair and what would be adequate, not just to the environment, but to our community in this parcel, is to have the city do a thorough third-party environmental impact study to identify and get a fact-based analysis on what is at this property versus the city giving an opinion, residents giving an opinion, having a third party and an expert identify what's there. I'd bet that we'll see, multiple endangered species there, and a recommendation to potentially preserve this site for the future. This isn't about just This isn't about kicking the can down the road, because this can has been kicked down the road before. And again, I'll hold myself accountable. I did not know the intricate details of this last situation as it went on during COVID. And, I own that. And so, we all make mistakes. We all, don't, bat 1,000. But I think if we get up, it doesn't matter how many times we fall. And so, once we identify what that analysis looks like, if I get consensus from my colleagues, I think we look at, preserving this so we're not in this situation in another 5 years. So that's... I don't know legally what needs to be done, because I know we entered potential negotiations. And so I'd like to know, how can we legally move forward to make sure that we are identifying and doing our due diligence first. And again, I've seen a lot of stuff on social media, and I don't want our staff or our commissioners, take the brunt of this. If you're upset, be upset with me, because, I'll only speak for myself. I didn't ask the right questions. But, it's our staff's job to do their best job, to be financially responsible for our budget and lessen the burden of our taxpayers, right? This isn't about people who hate the environment or people who hate animals or anything like that. This is about staff doing their job, and ultimately this body, this commission, making the right decision. And we still have the opportunity to do that. So I don't know if there's any appetite from my colleagues, to what I've mentioned, but that is my proposal. Legal, if there's a specific language you need for this to be adequate, please advise.
So I believe the proper motion would be a motion to cease and just do negotiations with the developer on the forest parcel, Nichols parcel, I believe it's called, and instruct staff to conduct an independent environmental study.
I want to add one more
I
thing.
just.
Well, please go ahead.
I
Commissioner
yield.
Turkin.
I yield.
I mean,
Well,
Commissioner Cruz.
technically, is there a second of the motion?
Well, I haven't made the motion yet.
Well, you haven't
okay.
made the
You
motion.
made the
yet.
motion yet.
Go ahead.
Second for discussion.
All right, well, do you guys want to discuss first, or do you want me to make the motion?
I want-
All right,
I prefer you
so I'll make a
the
motion
Make the
to
Make the
halt
motion.
negotiations with the current applicant of the LOI while staff conducts a third-party independent environmental impact study.
I'll go ahead and
All you
second
need.
that for discussion. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Turkin, for bringing that up. I think it's a legitimate concern. I have gotten also hundreds and hundreds of emails from multiple residents. So I also want to thank everybody for being here, for taking the time. I know it's not always easy to show up and wait and, sit at a meeting for a long time. You all are busy and you have busy lives. So thank you for caring about your community, and thank you for being here. In addition to your motion, I support your motion, but I did also want to add research and compliance with Florida statutes 379.411, which is the law against intentional killing or wounding of any species designated as endangered, threatened, or of special concern. I think that's something that's very much relevant to our discussion today. And one of the purposes and main points of why people are here today is really to protect, the endangered species. So if we can add that to our motion, I would definitely support it.
Would that, would that be included in an environmental impact study? I'm
I'll second
assuming?
that.
Yeah, okay. So that would be included,
That would be
is what I'm
included.
hearing.
Okay.
So there's, just for clarification, there, yes, the environmental impact study does include compliance with that, and that's why you do it, to make sure that you're not violating that statute.
Right.
So I don't know that we need that specific language in the motion, but if you would like to amend the motion to include that, we can certainly do that.
Want to amend your motion?
So are you?
If you would amend it, you got to
Go
say
ahead
it.
and amend it. You gotta say it, yeah.
Sure. I'll go ahead and amend your motion to add additional research with regard to Florida statutes 379.411 to protect endangered species and to make sure that we're compliant with that, with anything that comes back.
Second.
Second.
Second, yeah.
So if you could restate it. Or
Okay.
just say who made the
Oh.
amended motion, and
Commissioner Turkin made the initial motion. Commissioner Cruz made the amended motion. All of those in favor?
Discussion.
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 Yeah.
Second of discussion.
Just
I already
want,
seconded it.
Second.
Yeah.
Go
no, I
ahead,
just
Vice
want to
Mayor.
say the importance of green space, importance in our city. It's important to us. And I can see by tonight's presence, it's important to you too. And we represent you, okay? And this is something, as far as I'm concerned, is a no-brainer at this stage. So,
If-
so I do support the motion.
So my thoughts on this and when it comes to discussion are, we're sitting up here and we are all much in agreement of things. So how much is this environmental study going to cost us for all to still be staying in the same situation that we know we'd like to preserve this land and we know that there's going to be something that come back on the issue. So are we, like you said, let's not kick it down the can. Is it something can be addressed and get this off our plate? Or do we still want to go through and spend the money for an environmental study?
I'm okay to looking at deeding this land, but I know we'd have to work with the county as far as the zoning goes. I know there's a lot of propositions and asks to work with the county, see if the county can rezone this. I know there's a couple of nonprofits we could work with to converting this to a sanctuary. So I'm okay to forego an environmental impact study. I want to make sure that we do things the right way. And again, we at this point in time, there is ongoing discussion. So I want to make sure we're not putting the city at liability
Right.
for lawsuit. And, if an environmental impact study allows, protection to identify, ensures due diligence, which happens in any real estate transaction, whether it's land, condo, whatever, you have that due diligence period. I want to make sure that the city's covered, the taxpayer's covered. And so, for me, if legal can give me that, clarification and that confidence that we don't even need to do this, and we can go ahead and deed this land or partner with a nonprofit to preserve it in perpetuity so this doesn't happen again, I'm okay to do that.
I would prefer that we wait until we get the results back before we make any kind of decision, which we probably end up doing the same thing that you're saying. But I think it would be a bit premature at this point until we get the results back. The way I feel that this commission is headed now is in the right direction, but I think we want to do things decently and in order and then wait till we get the results and then come back and have that discussion.
Just for history, because I've only been up here 60 days, when this was done in 2020, was there an environmental study done in 2020?
No. But it was still a piece of protected land.
We're going to keep that, we're going to have public comments, so please, I'm asking city staff that, just one moment. So there wasn't one done in 2020, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay either way. I think we're gonna get to the same destination. I think doing that study does give us a little bit of bite, in the future for protection. But again, I'll go with, majority.
I support doing research. I think anytime that, I think hearing our conversations, I think we're all on the same page with regard to having the intentions of protecting this land and protecting the protected species. But at the same time, it's important to have our research, to do our due diligence, and to make sure that we, have all the information that we need to make an educated decision. So I would definitely support whether it's an environmental impact study itself or whether it's staff doing research with our historical data from what happened 5 years ago and, finding additional information with our legal team. As long as we get some sort of legitimate and adequate information, I would be in favor of looking into this in the near future.
Perfect. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for sending your emails, and,
Yeah, let's
We
vote on
complete
it.
the motion.
No, we
yeah,
have.
there is a one on the table.
Yeah.
It's amended, so I don't have any further discussion on this item.
For
Thank you again,
clarification.
Jessica.
Yeah, just to clarify though, are we
For
doing the study or are we doing?
There's,
doing the
there's a, yeah, there's a motion on the table.
Yeah, the motion is to
Yep.
cease negotiations with developer on forest parcel, instruct staff to conduct an independent environmental study, which includes the research and compliance of Florida statute, I think it was 379411, to protect endangered species.
Nailed it.
I think.
Nailed it.
Please don't make me say that again.
379.401.
I was close, I
Yes,
missed
you're
the
correct.
point.
Yes,
Okay,
you're
so
correct.
we have the.
We have the
We
motion.
have a motion, we have a second.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, so we are going to be moving on to public comment. We're moving on to public comment, and as always, you do have 3 minutes per person, and it's non-transferable, and the same rules will apply. The speaker must address the commission as a whole, not to an individual on the dais, and you may be asked to leave the meeting should you violate these rules. So I'm asking everyone who's going to speak to already get in line, and if you're standing and not speaking, if you could just grab a seat for a moment, but everyone who plans to speak, please line up against the wall right now and up against a podium so we kind of see how many people we have for what issues.
And there are 2 podiums. She's saying, if you're speaking on the same thing, maybe don't take time or have a representative from your group.
The other thing that we're going to ask, if you are speaking on the same issue, is try not to be repetitive because we are going to have to possibly cut the time on this a little bit or judge it as we go through this. Or if you have one major spokesperson for some of your issues and they can highlight all that, maybe that's the person that speaks, because we do have a very long agenda tonight to go through. So we're trying to be efficient on time.
Perfect.
Okay, let's get started. So already step up to the podium if you can. We'll take this lovely lady on the right. If you could please state your name, full name for the record.
My name is Renee Meisner-Lasitra. You're probably
Her mic
referring
on.
to my emails that you received since I sent you guys a lot. Did you hear it?
Is your mic on?
Your mic on.
Renee, hello, can you hear me?
You see a green light?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Speak into
Okay.
the mic.
So I know you guys have a lot going on with a lot of people here. As a resident, we're all neighbors and friends to one another. We really do not want to see the forest go away. It's something that a lot of us, the reason why we purchased our homes is because of that forest. It has endangered species. It's probably one of the most magical things you can look at on a daily basis, and I've gotten the pleasure to do that for the past 6 years. And we thought that it was a protected piece of land that was part of the climate project that we had going on in Boynton Beach. So we just ask you please just consider anything to protect it and keep it where it is. As a resident, I don't want to see it go away. And I'm pretty sure every single person in this room agrees with me that it's probably one of the most beautiful pieces of land we still have left.
Thank you.
Thank
Next,
you.
please.
Evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board. I'm coming up here to do something a little bit
Please
different
state your
tonight.
name, sir.
Oh, Mark Stevenson, 4392 King Theodore Drive, right here in lovely Boynton Beach. My wife and I are Navy retired. We planted our flag here in Boynton Beach about 10 years ago. We put ourselves on Gateway Boulevard, which is also known as the Gateway 500. I'm here to say thank you to the council. We have been trying to get some action to try to slow things down in there. To date, we've had 21 MVAs and 1 fatality. And the fatality was from our, unfortunately, Sea Meadow, the 55 and older development. I've been up here a few times trying to get something done. I went to this council, and this council actually acted. This council put our lights back on. This council paid attention to the needs that we had. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for that. We are just a community of a bunch of old people. It's hard for us to get across the street. All right, there's still a few things we need to get done. We'd like to get our walking light extended, our traffic light turned on, and maybe slow things down a little bit and have the police come and try to stop some of the speeding that goes through there. We've taken incoming on this road. To date, we've had 2 cars try to punch through our fence? Yeah, our fence. I was very impressed to see that these people up here came and looked at us. We sit out on the outskirts of Boynton Beach. There's nothing there. Nobody gets anything from us. We're just old people. But you guys took the time. You took the time, you came out there, you paid attention to us. Okay, you made us feel like Boynton Beach. I want to thank you for that. That's all I got for tonight.
Thank you so much. Next, please.
Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Jessica Namath. I'm an almost 40-year resident of Palm Beach County, Florida, and have a group of about 50,000 state park lovers and public land lovers and wild Florida lovers who make me aware of issues across our state every day. And we've had a lot of success with our legislators in passing the State Park Protection Act recently. And that is to the credit of Floridians for being so vocal about our public lands, our green space, our, the resources, the natural resources that we're all here for and love. And in my experience, it's been a lot more difficult to work with local and county leaders. The legislators, I think, seem to have gotten the message, at least for this 6 months right now. But I just want to really say thank you so much for your willingness to listen and recognize that a decision was made that was the wrong one, and to own up to that and to try to move forward and make the right decision. I think at the end of the day, that's all we ask of our elected officials. So again, I very much appreciate you all listening to the people and standing by them and not, catering to a developer or pressure from some other, county or entity, and really listening, because that's what I think Floridians are screaming to be heard. And I know that we're all grateful that you guys are moving forward and making the right decision to protect this. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Tom Warnke. I have been speaking the last 6 months about the Andrews House, and tonight it's mostly about the Nichols Forest. As you know, as CRA board members, the Andrews House is kind of waiting to see what the developer wants to do, having decided, hey, this might be a valuable asset. As soon as he finishes his assessment, then we'll be able to move forward and hopefully move it on to land on Ocean by the Magnuson House. I'm not sure if you had a chance to see my PowerPoint slideshow that I sent you. It was short notice, but so was the story about the Nichols Forest. But if you saw that slideshow, you can see the old photos. Back in 1958, I remember driving there on my bicycle and going out into Nichols Forest. And that was, 1958 I was 10 years old. This is why we have second readings. You require second readings, and this is why you do it, because additional information often comes up. And that's what happened in this instance, and I think it's going to be a feel-good result for everybody. If you've never heard of George Gann, he replied after I sent that slideshow to you. George Gann is the director of the Institute for Regional Conservation. They're headquartered in Delray. He's known all over the country for his work on habitat restoration and biodiversity, mostly along the coastline. But he knows the forests like the pine rocklands down in Dade and Broward County. He's an expert. He wrote a paragraph today. We forwarded it to you, but I'm going to read it here. The Institute for Regional Conservation, with global expertise operating throughout South Florida, is opposed to the sale and destruction of the Nichols Forest. Our research over 30 years has clearly demonstrated the critical value of remnant native ecosystems in urban South Florida for native plants. He goes on to make his point much, much better, but I implore you to read what he says. We need to not just save it, but invest a token amount to make sure we've got skin in the game. You mentioned the environmental impact study. You can do that. It'll show gopher tortoises. They're endangered. The developer will then say, okay, we'll move them. Most of them will die. Once they move them, they can clear cut the forest. That's not what these people are here for. We got to save the tortoises, but we need to save the green space too. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager. My name is Laura Conway. I am the Director for Lutheran Services Florida Head Start and Early Head Start program here in Palm Beach County. I want to begin by sincerely thanking you for the continued partnership and support from the City of Boynton Beach has extended to us for over a decade, including the research efforts to support us in identifying another facility within the city limits. For more than 11 years, the LSF Boynton Beach Head Start Center has been a trusted and essential part of this community, serving over 1,415 children and their families with high-quality early education, healthcare, and comprehensive family support services. Our presence here has been far more than just a program. We've been an anchor for working Head Start families, a trusted partner to local organizations, and a launching pad for children's lifelong success. In return for our partnership, our organization has made a significant investment in Boynton Beach community. Since 2016, we have invested more than $12.8 million into this program. The investment includes nearly $980,000 in direct facility repairs and infrastructure upgrades, and over $345,000 in maintenance and operational support contracts. These figures reflect our deep-rooted commitment to this location and a shared vision for a stronger, more supportive community. Today, I respectfully and wholeheartedly request your consideration in granting us a lease extension through January 2027. This extension will allow us to responsibly complete our transition, submit the required federal 1303 facilities application, which was not approved under Dr. Serrano, and identify a long-term sustainable solution without disrupting services to families and children that we serve. This request is not made only on behalf of the families and children enrolled, but also for the City of Boynton Beach itself. If the lease is not accepted, the city will lose its vital early education program. Children will be displaced. Your families will lose access to the only full-day comprehensive preschool program many of them rely on. Did you know that many of the children receive 3 meals a day through our program, and that our services make it possible for parents to work, attend school, and pursue stability for their families? The City of Boynton Beach will lose a long-standing educational resource that has been deeply woven into the fabric of your community. I want to be clear, we are prepared to honor our contract agreement, and we understand that respect the city's position. We are moving forward with our transition plan. But I cannot walk away without asking one last time with humility and hope for your reconsideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, good evening. My name is Laura Milligan. I live in Boynton Beach. I've been a Palm Beach County resident since 1989. I have copies for the commissioners of a resolution between Palm Beach County and the city. And I also have copies of an application for Florida Forever in order to make the Nichols Forest permanent preserve. Thank you. Palm Beach County dedicated the use of the forest along Nichols Boulevard for public purposes when the property was conveyed to the city of Boynton Beach in 1961. Housing is not considered for public purposes. There are very few protected wildlife areas left. Many protected animals have been seen in the forest, as we have mentioned, scrub jays, burrowing owls, bald eagles, black indigo snakes, and foxes. They had already previously mentioned about the gopher tortoises. There are a lot of gopher tortoises, including babies, so that shows that they are thriving and reproducing. And studies have proven that trees are crucial in keeping cities cool, which in turn helps cool the entire planet. Science has proven this, including the effects of Central Park helping to keep New York City cooler. Fighting climate change is a race against time. The sea levels are rising due to global warming. The height of new seawalls in Boynton Beach need to be higher than they were 50 years ago. The forest also helps to replenish the water in our aquifers. The city has been forcing communities to use reclaimed water for irrigation rather than using their wells because the water in our aquifers is diminishing. I'm not here today for only our benefit, but for the benefit of Boynton Beach and future generations to enjoy what little wildlife we have left and to protect our planet. This is not an issue about not in my backyard. It's a city issue, state, and global issue. I have a petition as of this afternoon. When I was at the county commissioners meeting, we had 1,777 concerned people through change.org stating we hereby petition the city of Boynton Beach to save the last pristine forest in Boynton Beach and to make it a nature preserve. Have you been to the forest? Have you been there? Luckily, I was able to bring County Commissioner Greg Weiss there, and so he could also see. I welcome anyone else who wants a private tour. We will be happy to take you. So I've provided an application from Florida Forever for the city of Boynton Beach to consider this route or another way to protect the forest forever. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mark here, George Boynton Beach. I want to commend Vice Mayor Hay and Commissioner Kelly for their presence at the Memorial Day service. I want to say thank you. That's something that the people that we were honoring that day cannot say. They can't get up and say thank you. But their sacrifice is why we have freedom. And in a world that at times seems real crazy with people being put on fire, I mean, it's just crazy anymore. And to take the time to honor our fallen soldiers, it just didn't take a lot of effort, but I wanted to say thank you because many families have family and relatives that have served, and their service is something we should all respect. And I just wish everybody else was there. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Michael Swarzina, Boynton Beach, Florida. Thank you for the opportunity to come out here and speak on this important issue, the Nichols Boulevard Forest. It's pretty incredible that, I have a buddy that wasn't allowed in. We packed this place full. So they said we're at capacity. We were able to mobilize in less than a week a ton of people to come out, not only perform a cleanup of the property and pick up litter, but also come out here and show support that, the last time we weren't heard loud enough. And, we're hoping that we can put a final resolution to this. I did email each of you. I was hopeful that, I'd get a response from all of you. I got a response from most of you. Most of them were personal. I really appreciate that. I do like the idea that we move forward with being able to make this a preserve in perpetuity. We've worked really hard at trying to, convince people of what's on this property, and you can drive down Nichols Boulevard and see gopher tortoises, right? It's not very hard. On my side, I live on a property that directly abuts this land, and, since the day I moved in, I saw my first gopher tortoise burrow. And with that, I've seen no less than 3 or 4 on the property. I'm hopeful that we do not end up in a situation where they're relocated, the property is knocked down, and townhouses are built per the letter of intent that was submitted. This is a green space that divides 2 communities, 2 neighborhoods that have existed. My house, I believe, was built in the 80s. Nichols was long before that. So there's not only the environmental impact, the environmental, the tortoises, but I've sent pictures to all of you of red-tailed hawks, I believe, Florida red foxes, amongst other wildlife. So the purpose that this land serves is far greater than simply the environment. However, I'm not minimizing that. I'm just trying to expand on why it's important to us, right? It does serve as a buffer for the neighborhoods. It serves as a beautiful space to look out your patio and be able to see. It serves as a beautiful space for people to be able to venture into if they so wish. So I thank you for your time, and I guess, probably could have saved a little bit of money by just simply coming on out and seeing some of the tortoises, but I respect the due diligence, so thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, City of Boynton Beach Commissioners, Mayor and Vice Mayor, and fellow Commissioner members. My name is Ashley Santoro, and I am a lifelong resident of South Florida and a frequent visitor to Boynton Beach. I am also the founder of the Herpetology Club at Florida International University. I wanted to come out here today to kind of focus a little bit more on the ecology of the gopher tortoises themselves. In a study conducted in 1989 by the FRAME Network, so that is the Fire Resource and Management Network, they concluded that within the first 30 days of translocation of gopher tortoises, there was a 70% mortality rate, and even higher so for juveniles. Research-grade observations of juvenile gopher tortoises have been located on the Nichols property. Therefore, if they were to be moved in favor of moving forward with the development, they would most likely face very high mortality rates wherever they are moved to. The most likely candidate for relocation would have been the Nocus relocation property in Panama City Beach, Florida. Of the 2,800 gopher tortoises that have been moved there in the last 20 years, 503 of those individuals have died across all phases of their lives. Furthermore, this kind of represents the fact that despite being able to relocate them as considered the more eco-friendly option, it is not in the best interest of these gopher tortoises themselves, as they are very highly susceptible to the stress of being moved. Gopher tortoises are considered ecosystem architects. This means that because of their behaviors, they are able to influence how the environment around them operates. They provide shelter for over 360 different species of Florida organisms. Many of these are found nowhere else on Earth, as many species, including the burrowing owls, are considered subspecies only found in the Florida Peninsula. In terms of a Phase 1 environmental survey, many estimates across the state would place a 15-acre parcel similar to the Nichols Park between $3,900 and $6,500 at most. I do believe that this endeavor, especially to the citizens of Boynton Beach, is well within the budget and should be highly considered. Returning back to the parcel themselves, I have been there and I have witnessed these gopher tortoises myself across all phases of their life cycle. I have seen hatchlings to old elderly tortoises who have lived for almost 5 to 6 decades in their lifetime. As the creator of the Gopher Tortoise Observation Program at Florida International University, I highly implore the members of this caucus to not move forward with the sale of this land and move it forward as a public use zone for the future so that the residents of Boynton Beach have this green space going forward forever. And I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mike
And if we
Corcoran.
could hold applause, we're going to try to keep public comment moving so that we can get on to the city business. So if you are here for one specific issue and it's the same topic. If you want to appoint a person, that would be great, or we're going to have to possibly condense public comment and put it on at the end. So I'm trying to make sure we keep everything moving as quick as we can for everyone to have their time.
I'm sure that I'm not going to get any applause, but I'm still going to voice my opinion anyway. Mike Corcoran, I live on Long Meadow Circle, which backs up to the woods. I've been there since 1980, and I've seen the development in the area. When I moved out, there were cows at Military Trail and Congress Avenue, and I've seen this, and this is the only green space that's left. I hate to see this be destroyed, just put up houses and concrete and stuff like that. I want to see the animals preserved and kept. I have one of the oldest gopher tortoises come into my yard and do his business on my grass. No applause, please. And and he's probably about this big. And it's a pleasure to see them when they come out every other day. I hope that you find, I think, Mayor, you had said, why would we do an environmental study? Because there's going to be a cost to that, and I understand that. So what if you were to say, well, if it's going to cost $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for environmental, why waste that money when you see all of these people, all of this stuff that you see that we're all talking about, why waste that and just go to the proper channels, go to the West Palm Beach and make it a preserve so that all people can enjoy it forever and not have this happen every 5 years again. So I implore you to consider that in doing what you has been doing. This is great that you came up with this idea. And I just think that your idea of why we spend the money for an environmental study when you see what it's going to bring on, and we're not going to let it go. We're going to keep on pushing until it does happen. So please consider that in your final assessment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, Susan Oyer, Boynton Beach. So I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the commission for doing the right thing. I guess you guys have heard the thousands of people I've sent your direction, and thank you very much. I want to say thank you to County Commissioner Greg Weiss, who has listened to myself and Mike and Laura, Mike Z and Laura. They are my two partners in crime on all of this. We're the ones who, when I saw this Tuesday night at that last commission meeting and had a meltdown in here, and you guys had to take the brunt of my being seriously mad because this is the second time in 5 years I've had to deal with this. I want to say thank you to Laura and Mike Z and Mike C, of course, who jumped up and immediately worked with me and we've made a great team on making this happen. We've all had our different areas of specialty. We've all had our areas where we've excelled. I can honestly say that Greg Weiss, the county commissioner for this area, for that area of the forest, would not have gone to the point he had gone to if Laura and Mike hadn't done extensive research. So thank you to the two of them for helping me, and for Mike C for also going out and getting his neighborhood riled up. I want to say thank you to all those who helped when I raised the alarm last Tuesday, or 2 Tuesday nights ago, when I was here in the commission and immediately started posting stuff on Facebook and asking for help. Thank you to the thousands of people in this city, in the county, in the state, and elsewhere who came out and stood up and got involved and didn't sit back and go, let someone else deal with this. So thank you. This is the third big environmental win in the state of Florida in the last couple weeks. Obviously, Jonathan Dickinson's and the state park issue is first. The Guara Conservation Area in north central Florida, somewhere up north of here, sorry, I don't know the exact place, was second. We're third. Next up is the Black Bear Coal that's coming up. So there's obviously more environmental things coming up. I think it's obvious the residents of not only our city, but our state are tired of the overdevelopment, and we want to keep our state beautiful. So I'm going to say again, thank you. Thank you to everyone who stood up and did the right thing. Thank you to everyone who has responded. Thank you to everyone who has participated. Thank you to everyone who came out and cleaned. We were out there cleaning for hours. Thank you to Brian Breeze from State Rep Casello's office, who came out first thing in the morning before 8 o'clock and helped me, and we were going through and cleaning out tons of trash. Mike Z collected almost 2 full tons worth of trash because it had been so many years since we last went out there. Please come out and take a look. I'm happy to take you through the forest. Laura is a great tour guide. She and Commissioner Weiss and I went out. Mike can show you the tortoise living in his backyard. I think his name is Hank the Tank. So I want to say thank you to everyone for doing the right thing. Thank you to the city employees who are truly just doing their job. We're not mad at you.
Okay, thank
We're
you,
mad at the
Susan.
situation.
Next,
Thank
please.
you.
Hi, my name is Dave Patterson. I'm the president of the Los Mangos Property Owners Association, and lately also feeling like an endangered species. On behalf of the 188 homeowners in Los Mangos, we ask you to vote no on all destructive development. I am heartened to see what happened tonight with Save the Forest. This is great. We're trying to save Los Mangos. At all of our appearances here, we have raised the need for a good neighbor policy, one that includes a relationship with the city and separately a relationship with the Live Local developers, in our case, affiliated development. We asked the city government, our city government, to get involved. The last time we were before the commission, one of the city attorneys said, quote, "The preemption aspects of the legislation can be frustrating for residents and local officials who deeply value their community input in shaping the neighborhood's future. If our local officials so deeply value the community, what are you all doing to fight this legislation?" Representative Casello spoke in this chamber 2 weeks ago and said clearly that this legislation is not good. It needs to change. He advised you that the newly approved Senate Bill 1730 includes language that erodes the authority of the municipalities and even further puts it squarely into the hands of developers. You know that Representative Casello voted against all of this in the House. He is firmly against the Live Local legislation as it now reads. Brian from his staff came to the April 15th meeting to publicly say that. Did you know that Senator Berman failed to share with you that she voted in favor of it? Have you had any conversations with her about Live Local? Have you lobbied her on this? We've issued an invitation to Senator Berman to come and see the site, to see the impact of her legislative choices firsthand. We can't imagine that any of her constituents, except maybe developers, are for this. How many of them live in Boynton Beach? She represents all of us, not just the developers. The city has lobbyists. You have the ability to lobby Tallahassee for Live Local changes to protect our city. You know the Live Local Act and its amendments simply don't work. This legislation has created and will continue to create enormous, irreversible, long-term consequences. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Campabasso, and I also live at Los Mangos. Affiliated, the developer, stated in an email to us that they want to be good neighbors, but regrettably, it's not going so well. What is a good neighbor? It's characterized by consideration, respect for others and their property, willingness to help, open communications. A good neighbor contributes to a positive and harmonious neighborhood. Here are some recent problems we've had that are not in keeping with being a good neighbor. The atrium demolition. We discovered the required pest review was done 8 months before the demolition. Rats and critters are constantly on the move. In 8 months, there's a high percentage that things that have changed around the building. We called it out to the developer, and they agreed to have another inspection done, but they never provided the promised report. So we're not even sure that they did it. We informed the developer about the huge amount of iguanas living on their property. We have multiple pictures of nests with 30 to 40 eggs in each. We told them that since the activity started to occur on their property, we are experiencing the great iguana invasion. They failed to do anything about it, and we do not have a problem before this. We didn't have any iguana issues. There were strong east winds while they were working, and we had to call the city the very first day of the demolition because they were not using water on the piles. Since then, it's been very spotty. After 2 weeks, we found that they broke one of our irrigation pipes while putting in the fencing. The contractor knew it and didn't notify us. We had to find it out ourselves. The certificate of insurance. Acting on the direction of our Plastridge insurance agent, we asked the developer to add us as an additional insured on the contractor's demolition certificate of insurance. The developer replied that this was a very unusual request. Our agent said that this is common practice. The developer replied that, quote, as a courtesy, they would ask to have us added. We sent several follow-up emails. They never responded. Now we will be coming up on the construction, the risky piece. Since this building is so tight, so close, we need to be added to the construction certificate of insurance for both builds. Only once in an email has affiliated offered to be a good neighbor, but one email doesn't make it so. It's nothing but pushbacks, demands, and being ghosted. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Liz White. I live in the city of Boynton Beach. I am speaking on some of the ways the actual construction by affiliated has and will impact Los Mangos. Who is responsible for monitoring the demolition and the construction at the site? Does the city have any responsibility here? We're having issues with the demolition, which is supposedly the easy part of all this, and the big work hasn't even started yet. The developer told us, quote, rest assured that the condition of all adjacent Los Mangos property was very well documented ahead of construction, end quote. Do they think a video or pictures of some trees and the outside of some houses along the property line is enough? You heard about Monterey Bay with cracked ceilings and foundations. How do they think they've documented that? If it was so well documented, did they come into our private community property, trespassing without permission? And how can it be that well documented if they have already broken an irrigation line on our property line? How much research of our community did they really do to prevent problems? They never came and talked to us, never asked to come in and review what we have, like irrigation, wells, etc. In our first meeting, they didn't even realize that we backed up to the railroad tracks. Here's how Los Mangos has been affected in the past few weeks from the demolition. We are now overrun with iguanas, which carry salmonella. We now have a broken irrigation pipe, which they knew about, but never contacted us. There was heavy equipment driven through our neighborhood. Our roads are not rated for that type of vehicle or equipment. We've had a few dust storms as the watering of the property was inconsistent and the winds have been prevailing out of the east. At times they were using a small garden hose to try to control the dust. As we look down the road to future construction, here's a list of just some of the serious impacts that Los Mangos homeowners will have to endure as the apartments and townhouses are built. Failure of our drilled wells, contamination of our drilled wells, broken clay sewer pipes, flooding due to the slope of the property being changed, more vehicles and heavy equipment driving through our neighborhood, unrealistic construction timeline, and very inconsistent developer oversight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. Go ahead and step up to the podium. And if you want to step up, sir, so you're ready when she's done, that would be great.
Hi, my name is Jen Berry, and I proudly live in Los Mangos. I'll be focusing on violating the spirit of the Live Local Act and 40% versus 61%. As recently as April 3rd, Jeff Burns, Affiliated Development's co-founder and CEO, was quoted in a Sun Sentinel interview stating, "It's very, very difficult to build 40% of your project dedicated to workforce housing and do a high-rise. The economics just don't make sense, even with the tax incentives." However, at a very cordial first meeting, the city excitedly shared that Dune Apartments would be 61% Live Local units, far exceeding the mandatory 40%. This begs the question, why would Affiliated proceed with the Dune Apartments build if they can't make money? Let's examine this. If the total number of apartments is 298, 183 are one-bedroom, 115 are two-bedroom, some with ocean views, what's driving this seemingly generous 61%? Unless this is a mathematical coincidence, the 183 one-bedroom units represent exactly 61% of the build. This means the entire inventory of two bedrooms would be available to rent at market rate until Live Local sunsets in 30 years. So is this really what's behind the 61%? Will this be the income gap that will allow Affiliated to proceed with what they claim is an unprofitable build? In addition, this type of scheme would exclude families and the missing middle. Representative Casello recently told this chamber that the Live Local Act is not good. Designating all one-bedrooms in this way violates the spirit of Live Local. Developers are taking advantage of loopholes such as this, and they must be closed immediately. Clearly, this raises many questions. Has the city been duped or simply turning a blind eye? Please let us know. Is there another explanation or are our calculations incorrect? Perhaps this is the moment where you, our city officials, finally take a stand. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Michael Salvatore. I also live in Los Mangos. You might remember me from a few weeks ago. I was here with my wife. We have a baby girl now. She's happy and healthy. Thank you. So there's a pretty common theme with all the people talking tonight, and it's developers encroaching on our community, and quite carelessly at that. And clearly that's happening at Los Mangos. Thankfully, you today put at least a pause on it happening at the Nichols project. But I have specific concerns tonight about infrastructure. So we've talked a little bit already about our irrigation wells. We have 4 drilled wells for irrigation of our 30 acres of land. They've been working for decades. We've had to replace 3 of them over the past 3 years. 1 had to be relocated. 1 was re-drilled at almost double the depth, or more than double the depth, I should say. But the thing is, changes to the neighboring property can impact our drilled wells if our neighbor, affiliated, and they don't have the best track record so far, is going to significantly change their property's surface. That can affect the local water table. That could reduce the water that's available to a well in our community. And of course, that cascades out to other communities, and that's happening right now on the development site. We also have an issue with clay pipes. We have aged clay sewer pipe mains located along the property line with Affiliated. You already heard about one that broke, and they didn't even bother to tell us about it. Our team here that's on top of this issue met with the Boynton Utilities team, and they informed us the pipes were at least 50 years old. They strongly recommended these old clay pipes be scoped before and after construction, and that was a wise idea. I think it's very logical to do it, and we respectfully ask for this to be done at once. There was a concrete wall demolished within a few feet of the pipes, which you heard about. This was back on May 22nd. And there will be a new wall added in. It's going to be much bigger, and that will probably have an impact on the pipe infrastructure as well. Clearly what the Boynton Utilities Department recommended needs to be done for our property and in general. It would be prudent to know the condition of the pipes to get a baseline before the real construction begins later this summer. We'd like for you to advise us to approve and take action on this urgent request. And with the rest of my time, that invitation to come and visit Los Mangos and the site of the dune build still stands. A funny thing about Los Mangos is it also has a lot of wildlife and different varieties of trees. There used to be a mango orchard many, many years ago, which you might not have known. And it feels to me like one of actually a pretty key environmental area in Boynton Beach that is under indirect threat from this development. So contact me, contact Dave. Please come out, just walk around. It's a beautiful neighborhood. It's going to be a lot less beautiful when this building is put in. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening. My name is Mervyn Johnston. I also live at Los Mangos, and I want to address another impact to Los Mangos. Understand we're a private community with private roads. When about 850 renters move in and the egress and ingress of a 401-car garage are a few feet from our main entrance and property line, you can well imagine that we're going to face massive delays trying to get in and out of our development. Imagine a car turns west off a federal highway, tries to parallel park in one of the 5 spots along Southeast 28th Circle. How are they going to turn to get out? They'll have to do a 3-point turn in the middle of a busy road, but they're not going to do that. They're going to drive through our neighborhood. That's exactly what they do on our private roads. Now add 8 parking spots on 27th Terrace, 2 ingress and egresses for the townhouses, a raised crosswalk, a speed bump, a fire lane. A car turns west on 27th. They have to do a U-turn in the middle of the road to get to the east-facing parking spaces. They're not going to do that either. They're going to drive through our neighborhood. Did anyone consider this? And the answer is yes. City engineering did almost 2 years ago, but planning shut it down as a perceived problem. In the conditions of approval for this project in September 2023, City Engineering wrote, quote, "How will on-street parking circulation discourage U-turns and/or entering the private development west of this project?" And they stated, "Please consider secondary access drive along the west side of the dunes." Response from the city was, quote, "The city planning and zoning staff will not allow a roadway through the west end of the project site." Per city planning staff meeting that occurred Tuesday, January the 16th, Amanda Radigan with the Boynton Beach, City of Boynton Beach, stated that a roadway through the site to discourage returns for a total of, she perceived, 5 streetcars was not a realistic solution for this perceived circulation issue. First, Amanda is incorrect. The number of parking spots is not 5, but at least 13 on 27th and 28th. Does anyone realise that 27th and 28th are only 270 feet long and the lanes are only 11 feet wide? It's not a perceived problem. This is a real and a large problem. How is this going to work? How will the city prevent vehicles from trespassing in our community? It's a disaster in the making, and it's just the tip of the iceberg, and so many things have been missed about this project that it seems to have been rushed through and not a lot of thought has been put into it. I really thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Frances Saunders, and I live in Los Mangos, Boynton Beach. There are alternatives to this madness, and we respectfully offer the following initial suggestions. First, our suggestion is leave the north parcel of Dune 2 as live local townhouses as planned. They fit harmoniously with the zoning and character of the neighborhoods. Then we suggest following alternatives for the south parcel. 1, it could become ultra high-end townhouse rentals with a height that is harmonious with the existing R3, C3 zoning and would thereby not exceed 45 feet. This would be a beautiful fit with the neighborhoods from south of Woolbright to the Delray line. We call this SOWB district, which stands for South of Woolbright, or SOBI. 2, Affiliated donates the land to the city, ideally in perpetuity, for a park to complement J.C. Park and its full array of amenities, located directly across the street. This would ease congestion in this very popular park. The city could create tax and financial incentives to acknowledge Affiliated's incredible act of civic generosity. 3, here's a hybrid solution. Part of the parcel is donated to the city and the other part could become a small, architecturally charming retail space. Foot traffic could come from both parks, the Nova Inn Resort, as well as the surrounding communities. It could contain a coffee shop, ice cream shop, and a sundry store. The nearest we have is 1 mile up the road. It would be a big improvement over the paltry 2,500 square feet of retail Affiliated has in their build plan. This would really serve everybody in our part of town. 4, rotate the proposed apartment building and put the 401 car parking garage, ingress and egress, on Southeast 27th Terrace instead of 30 feet from our main entrance on Southeast 28th Circle. Think about it, reimagine what this site could be. There's no such thing as can't, only won't. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Rachel Sear. I live in the Los Mangos community. I have a quick recap on the requests that we're making to the city. Regarding our sign and median, we are notifying the city again. We are reaffirming and reasserting that the Los Mangos community has not entered into any kind of agreement with Affiliated Development regarding our median or sign placement. We have informed the developer that these issues require dialogue, but they have been silent. We request that those clay pipes be scoped. Whose responsibility is this? Who will take the lead? Please advise us. We request that the city explain to us the following, and maybe we could have an in-person meeting. Who is the watchdog in the city to ensure the developer is doing what they're supposed to when they're supposed to do it, ensuring the safety of everyone? Who do we contact when things are not right, like the lack of consistent dust mitigation or cutting our irrigation pipe during demolition? Why did the city approve the density bonus and low setbacks when not mandated by Live Local? These need to be adjusted to follow code. Please explain to us how parking spots on Southeast 27th Terrace and Southeast 28th Circle will work. We request the city work with FEMA to determine if the dune property flood zone designation of being half in and half out needs to change with all the regrading that's being done. We request the city get out and make some noise about the problems with Live Local. We request yet again that we work together to create a citywide good neighbor policy for all construction projects. We want this bill lowered, and we again thank Mr. Adam Temple for being so consistently responsive. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Kim Roger. I'm the chairperson for the Save Los Mangos Committee. Please, you don't need to tell us again what you can't do and how your hands are tied. There are things that you could have done and still can do. You gave affiliated exceptions that they are not entitled to even under the Live Local Act. This bill does not satisfy certain conditions that would afford them the exceptions. 1, you did not have to give up a density bonus to the developer to go up to 100 dwelling units per acre. They're not entitled to this. The recommended MUC zone has a max of 80 dwelling units per acre. There is an exception in the code to go as high as 100 when the build is downtown transit-oriented district. We're not in that district. That's defined as within a half-mile radius of Ocean Avenue and the railroad intersection. This is in the zoning code, so wouldn't this bonus require a variance? The Live Local Act states that if a proposed development satisfies the conditions, the bonus must be approved. A project must satisfy the established criteria for that specific bonus as defined by local government. This bill does not satisfy that bonus condition. Unlike density, FAR, height, and use, setbacks are not exempt in Live Local. The MUC zone setback in the code says 25 feet plus 1 additional foot for each foot height over 35 feet. That would be 71-foot setback versus the 20 to 30 we're getting. Setbacks are for maintaining light, air, and privacy. Taller buildings cast shadows, impede airflow to neighboring properties, and greatly reduce privacy. The setback helps mitigate these impacts. We are afforded the right to enjoy our property at the state and federal constitutional levels. So aside from reading the Live Local Act to us, the city has been silent, at least from our vantage point. We've gone to the state, and we're going to the state. Are you? If you're not, does that mean you're okay with this law, okay with what it's doing to us and our city's future? Why aren't you fighting it? The state is quickly taking away all of your power to design this city and handing it to the developers. So what's really going on behind the scenes that you're willing to abdicate your control to the developers? At the risk of overstating the obvious, we should be working together. We've been ready to work together since the beginning. As Los Mangos goes, so goes Boynton Beach. And I want to say again, there's no such thing as can't, only won't. And just quickly, we would also like to thank Susan Oyer for her support of the forest and along with Los Mangos, support of us there too. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
My name is Charles Wiener, and I'm with Boynton Mariner Village. I'm allowed to talk about a different agenda item?
Yes, you are.
This is a new agenda. This is item 8C regarding the variance for Mariners Way to extend their docks from approximately 24 feet into the canal to 32 feet into the canal. Now, I'm in the community, Boynton Mariner Village, that is on the other side of that canal. We had an attorney who was supposed to appear by Zoom tonight. I guess he had a problem. Technically, I don't know which side it's on. Guy Shear, I really urge you to read his letter because he does a much better job articulating all of the issues that certainly our community has with this. And he also includes a list of actionable items that Mariners Way can take to help resolve their issues. I can tell you not to rehash every item in this, that their request for the variance is a one-size-fits-all. They're requesting a variance for their entire community where each of their docks are individual and may have individual issues without providing surveys or substantiating any of the facts behind where they're claiming they need to bring these docks out. And there was such a short time period. Our community, the commission, our lawyer hasn't had the ability to review any of the actual facts that are the basis for why they need this throughout their entire community. I don't know if you can see this, but this is in his letter. It's a photo of our canal, which is a very narrow canal. I can tell you that this canal is used 24 hours a day. We're near the Boynton Beach Inlet. This is fishermen in these communities. They're going in and out at night, they're going in and out during the day, and it is two-way traffic. And they need to be able to turn their boats around when they're in here and dock in all matter of wind and weather. And when you go to the extreme west end of the canal, there's literally no room to turn around. So whatever the commission does on this, I hope that they do not vote tonight to allow this variance without reviewing Guy Shear's letter and perhaps getting more information from the other community as to why they need this and why they need this for each particular dock that they may be looking to make a change to. That's it for me, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, my name is Benalay, and I have lived in Los Mangos for 25 years. On behalf of the 188 homeowners in Los Mangos, we ask you to vote no to all destructive development. Save Los Mangos, save the forest, and for heaven's sakes, save our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, my name is Mike Reese, 25-year resident of Boynton Beach. I was a former HOA president from Mariner Village. Charlie, I'm following on to his thing with the Manatee extension. The safety concerns are one of the things I wanted to bring up that he kind of touched on, so I'll just move kind of past that. But ingress, egress of these boats is of utmost importance to us, being able to turn the boats, and it's tight as it is, and I feel that safety is a very big thing that we should be considering.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we are going to have public comment on that item, and I do prefer, if they're going to be offering testimony, that it be under oath.
Okay.
You're certainly welcome to make your comment now. However, it won't be considered because you aren't under oath to be making those comments. So if you want to make a statement under oath for your testimony to be considered, then the appropriate time to do it is at 8C, but that is certainly your choice.
Okay, so I do have a couple of points I just wanted to
Yeah.
kind of highlight.
I'm
Is
just
that
letting
acceptable?
you know that it's a quasi judicial, so anyone who's going to testify technically needs to be under oath, and yours is turning more into testimony as opposed to opinion.
Okay,
But that is your choice.
okay.
All right.
All right, I'll just hit the top level stuff, and then maybe that'll be just food for thought to move forward. We did not get a chance in the 2-week notice that we had to perform a proper marine engineering study, and we would like to have time to do that. We also did not get an environmental impact study, and as a past HOA president, I did a dredging project where we had to do a big environmental impact study to look for grass, certain fish that were in the water, that type of thing, before we could actually dredge out the area. The other thing that I just kind of wanted to topically go over and not like really testify about is a blanket variance for about 35 units on one side of the canal seems to not really go into the spirit of what a variance and what I would consider a variance is, which is a single problem that you're trying to overcome and accommodate. If we just approve the whole thing for the whole community, then it's piecemeal. Any one dock over there can go ahead and push themselves out another 10 feet, which would be of big impact to our community. If depth is the concern, then dredging would be the solution. And that's part of the letter that Guy Scher actually, put into the record that he sent to you guys that you can review. Yeah, and that's it. I just want to make sure that you guys knew that Guy Scher, our lawyer, had given you plenty of information to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Cindy Falco Di Corrado, talking on a totally different subject. I wanted to bring up about the unlawful smart meters, the deployment of approximately 23,000 of not-so-smart water meters. Did you know that they're going to be in the right-of-ways of the residentials, and it's right across, in the areas which will also lower our value of property? It's really disheartening that we have to stay up on so many things because we're being barraged left and right with so many situations, and it's like continually putting out fires. But I did want to make the public aware of this, that they are going to be distributing approximately 23,000 smart water meters on your property. And I did want to make sure that they were registered, they were service provided checked out with service providers as required under the City Ordinance of Part 2, Code of Ordinance, Chapter 225.1, and the communications facilities in the public right-of-ways, the micro wireless facility, and is there any opt-out program? I know that people are really affected by the microwave things that go out, and it really causes, I have some friends, they literally can't go out of their house. And these things are a health hazard. I know that a lot of people have the smart electric meters, but now they want to put in smart electric water meters. And this is too much. There's not been enough study to see how much harm it's going to do to our human bodies. And now that we're boxing everything in with cement and building cities and all these kinds of things, I do want to make a statement. Are we looking to look like New York or Miami? Because I don't know. When I moved here, it was a quaint little, charming little town, and it looks like the vision for Boynton Beach has changed. I also wanted to bring up about the assault that was on me by Officer Sergeant Whitey. And I want to know what's going to be done in regards to even reprimanding the police officers who signed under penalty of perjury a false incident report. These are crimes that are being done by those wearing uniforms, being police officers and policymakers. They're harming we the people, and they're not doing their job, and they should be held to the same accountability as anybody else who goes outside the law and violates the Constitution of the United States of America. This has got to be dealt with. This has got to be handled. It's not forgotten. It is coming back up again. And I know that you were not here at that time, Mayor, but the rest of the commissioners were, and they will be being inquired of. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, Karen Reinhardt. I've lived here about 25 years. I'm also about the water meters. There's also something that I brought up the last commission, or not the meeting, but the last group of people that were here, about these poles that have been put in the Forest Park neighborhood and all the way up to Hypoluxo. We've never gotten any explanation what they are, what they're for. You guys have gotten permits for them, but you've never done any safety tests on them and they're in our neighborhoods. They're right in the right of way. I think that as residents, we should, know what these are and what they're doing. And, we weren't even asked about it. They are also we've heard that it's another, internet thing that can go to our body or whatever. For the safety of us, I'm asking something to be done about it. At least inform us. We weren't informed, and now our property values have gone down because of these in our neighborhood. So I'm just asking that somebody do something about it, and let us know what they are and what they are for. And also, I just have to say something because a couple of meetings back, we were talking about the police department and how great it is in Boynton. But what I'd like to know is, I've been here 25 years, and, you guys made the other part of, Boynton, the other side of Boynton, you developed beautiful. But I went down to go to the church to see the new people coming in, and my window's down, and I'm asked if I want drugs. Now, that's gone on for 25 years. There's got to be something the police can do. I am grateful they did get a home in my neighborhood after 25 years that I've called about and called about. They did finally do something about it. it just seems like they slack a lot, and then they want to go after other things that have nothing to do with crime, and it's just, I don't know. I think more needs to be done in this town. Forest Park sometimes looks just like crap, and we're coming up on hurricane season, and people need to be aware that you do not put your stuff out when a hurricane's coming. We go through this every year, and we're tired of it.
Thank you. So is there anyone online for public comment? Oh, come on up. I should say come on down.
Sharon Caputo, and I live in Boynton, Mariner Village. I am here regarding the manatee variance. I think there may be some confusion.
Excuse me, ma'am. I see some people standing here. If you want to speak for public comment,
Come on
please
down.
come to the podium. Because if you're not standing up and you don't want to speak, then we're going to move forward after
Yes.
this public comment online.
Correct. Okay, go ahead.
I think
Sorry,
there may be,
start
that's
over.
okay. There may be some confusion. There's a lot of members here tonight from Boynton Mariner. We saw the posting of the variance. We immediately reached out to Guy Shear, who's counsel for the association. These two communities, Manatee and Boynton Mariner, have lived side by side for something like 40 years. It is a very narrow waterway. I think it's DPEP controls the canals and not the Army Corps. When we were looking personally, as an owner, to expand into the waterway, DPEP made it very, very known to us that you have to be very careful because it's a narrow waterway with navigation problems, and they would have to look at an aerial, and it's under great consideration. To come home and to find a notice that our neighboring community, who has lived side by side for 40 years, has decided to better their rear yards and docks to our detriment, seems very, very selfish and very upsetting. And I think that it would create navigational problems. When you're coming down that canal, it is very narrow, and you have to navigate, and you know how, you can look at your aerials and see how narrow it is, and now all of a sudden you get a little bit of a wind, and now they're trying to come out 10 feet. There isn't 10 feet to come out. I can tell you we have a very narrow boat, and you cannot come out 10 more feet on the other side. So it would create not only navigation problems, there would be danger, and it wouldn't be safe for our boaters. So I don't even know how that would be considered. Our attorney was quite upset. He was trying to be on the call tonight. Maybe it was technical issues. But I asked that no decisions be made tonight to allow our attorney to speak with the city attorney and work out these things. He has very specific arguments for not allowing this, and they all rest on safety. And also, by doing that, you would lower and negatively affect the values of our homes. And we have 65 homes in the community. If you lower the value of 35 of them on one side, you also impact the other side. So I ask that no decisions be made tonight while counsel for both the city and the association have time to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. And next,
Thank
please.
you.
Come on.
Either one?
Yep.
Either one. How we doing? My name's Brett Cerubi. I've been a member. I've lived in Mariners Village for over 10 years. I have a 27 conch. It's not a big boat. It's a boat that can fit back there. I'm not here to complain about safety or what's going to happen or how this is the right thing to do or not. I have a 27-foot boat. That's why I bought the property that I have lived in for 10 years. I can barely turn around in the canal as it is. So when I come down this canal, I then have to spin my boat, dock it at my dock. I'm already within a couple feet on both sides. I'm able to just fit it. It is already a pretty sketchy situation, but everyone does what we got to do. I live in the water. I'm an active fisherman, boater, love living there, love being a part of the boating community in Boynton. And all I'm going to say is if you do that, you're going to have a lot of people selling. You're going to have the whole community is going to be up in arms. It's going to be a nightmare because I'm going to have to sell my boat, which then is going to make me have to sell my property. I don't think we're in a fair situation to allow this other community to put 10 feet. We're all going to have to either not have boats or sell boats or maybe have little flats boats, which then takes the whole fishing out of Boynton. So I'm here to just say that I don't think we're being put in a fair situation. As a homeowner, as a member of the Boynton community, it's not a good place to be in, and want to come show my support of, not in support of this situation.
Thank you. Okay, is there any?
I'm not sure that you can see this, but
I need you to speak into the mic and please state your name. Go ahead and start the clock.
hi, my name's Kimberly Chase, and I'm here for a little truth and a little dignity and help from the city. I've been tolerating for 3 years. First, let me tell you who I am. I am an aquatic and fitness professional. I teach online. I've taught since the mid-2010s. I really love my work. I teach older people. I teach kids camps. I teach agility handlers that handle their dogs all over the world. I have competed on the agility world team. I have a property near Gulfstream Road, and I've lived there 20 years. I lived near downtown Delray for 15 years. There's been a major problem with short-term rentals in our area, specifically since 2022. In September of last year, specifically September 10th, I came here and spoke to the commission and spoke with Tom Turkin about what was going on in my neighborhood, which I've put in a diagram, and I think it's very important that you all see this diagram. I'm not really sure how to put it up here so you can see it, but I'm going to try. So here you see 34th Avenue, which apparently has so much traffic now that we had 3 speed bumps put in. Am I close enough to the mic here? Okay, so here I am, 3612, built-in pool, built-in pool, built-in pool, built-in pool, built-in pool. 2018, added a pool. 2023, added a pool. This amplifies sound, as we all know. So 3616, and over here, this is a 3625, I believe. 2 over occupancy for short-term rentals since 2022. In December of 2024, the house sold. Here, 3616, who is owned by Brittany Ringerson, Carly Herzer, and operated by Rachel Bass, apparently owned by Boynton Beach East LLC, which was unlicensed with Boynton in 2023 and 2024, and also tried to get a homestead exemption on the property in 2025. But it's a little confusing because I received a threat letter never to talk to the people at 3616, and the owner of the property has threatened me. You're gonna, by the time I'm done with this, you'll know what heart palpitations, vomiting, irritability, shaking, depression, trauma mean, and what CPTSD means. You're also gonna know doxing.
Unfortunately, you have 20 seconds left.
Okay, so trespassing, false reports to Animal Care and Control. I got a call today asking from Animal Care and Control in Boynton, how many dogs do I own? Well, there's 3 dogs here, 2 dogs here, 3 dogs here, 3 dogs here, 1 dog here. And yes, I have dogs, 1 dog here. How is that your city's business? Your city's job is to fix this problem, please. It's bad, and I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone online?
Anyone online? There is.
Waiting out in the hall.
Oh, I thought I saw your name, so yeah.
Sorry, they let
Okay.
me in.
No, that's okay.
Thank you.
We're good? We're good? Okay. So we're gonna close public comment. We're gonna move on to the administrative portion of the agenda, and we do have a board application. But this nomination does go to Commissioner Kelly, so we're gonna postpone that until she returns. There are no applicants for the following boards, but do you have something to say?
So I'll make a motion to, I guess, table that appointment for Commissioner Kelly.
Okay, so Commissioner Turkin made the motion and Vice Mayor Hayes seconded the motion to table this. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. There are no applicants for the following boards, but there's a lot of people in the room tonight, so we encourage residents to apply if you're interested in the Art Advisory Board, Education and Youth Advisory Board, Historic Resources Preservation Board, Library Board, Recreation and Parks Board, and the Senior Advisory Board. Moving on to the,
I'm sorry, there are people online?
Oh.
Do we have that set up
Where are they?
for, that screen there?
Yeah, I got nothing on here.
It should be
She just did it.
Guy Shear, that's the
Right.
attorney that was mentioned
Okay.
earlier.
I got it.
Craig
And then
Silver,
Cameron, and
yep.
she was on
HC,
before.
HC. I
Public
just see a
hearing.
Maharaj, Cameron Maharaj, he's
Yeah.
the only. Yeah,
Yeah, he would be for the
We do have
issue.
one,
So Cameron Maharaj?
Yes.
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 Okay, so can we get him up on the screen? We'll open public comment back up for just this online participants.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with.
Okay.
Maybe we want to give it a second, let everyone,
That's all right, let's just get him on. And we can't see when they're on. We good?
They're quiet. Go.
is he there?
I can't.
Hello?
There we
Hi, Cameron, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead, your 3 minutes
I'm
is
coming in
starting
from
now.
Publix. I'm shopping for my my mom's birthday. I'm sorry for coming to
Happy
you guys like
birthday,
this.
Mom.
But my 3 minutes, Cameron Maharaj, I'm from District 2. I have, I want to champion what they were saying. We should renew the contract for the Hester Center. I learned a lot from there. I learned how to play violin. That was a foundational thing for me growing up is the Hester Center. There was a lot of great opportunities. Food scarcity is a real thing, and if we deny the children food by not allowing them to get the budget back to be able to do what they do and open their facilities, I think that would be a huge issue. Now, while we're at District 2, let's talk about the infrastructure going into the Hester Center. So, as stated by the director, Kevin Ramsey, this Rolling Green neighborhood has some of the worst infrastructure that isn't currently being worked on by far in Boynton Beach. And we have no action plan to make something like this happen. So I'm not sure if we need to provide more funding for their department in order so we can create a safe environment for the kids that get off on the bus stop right next to the Hester Center that have to walk into Rolling Green to go home. And there's no action plan to fix something like that. So it's people like me that I've been a resident for the last 24 years. We're looking at our ambassadors, our District 2 representation. What are you doing for us? If we're going to continuously suffer, there's multiple accidents down that road. I can credit the police department for upping their surveillance. They've even put a flock camera. But still, it isn't good enough if the kids are still unsafe crossing that road. I know it's city, that's not city road, but the infrastructure for Rolling Green, the road infrastructure, there's a huge issue that no one's fixing. There's no action plan. So I'm calling upon you guys to make something happen for us. Our neighborhood deserves it. We are all paying taxes. We have multiple smashed mailboxes through the entirety of the neighborhood without things being changed. So I'm calling upon this dais to make a change where it needs to be and stop being complacent. If a kid dies, I've been an amputee for the last 18 years. I lost my leg on Seacrest. So if kids die because of this, we know whose fault this is. You guys aren't supporting Kevin Ramsey and what he's doing for the community and building back the neighborhoods that need it the most. So what's the end of it? You know, I said it once before, nothing's gonna happen until there's blood on the hands. You guys have the opportunity to make something change. If you don't do it, we know where to vote. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. Okay. Now we can, because Guy and Craig are both here for 8C,
so we can move forward.
so we can move forward. We can close public comment. And
Real quick, Mayor, if I may, just want to address something with public comment that I wanted to address in the beginning of the meeting. I think that's important. Going into budget, we have a legislative break. And so we really need to look at a clean and safe initiative for the east side of Boynton Beach. The garbage everywhere that's getting missed, you know, the enormous amount of suspicious activity, you know, the lack of, you know, follow-up, I believe, you know, with certain departments. You know, and I don't think it's lack of motivation or lack of trying. I think it's lack of resources. And so I want to make sure that this body does what it can and works with staff to propose a direct mechanism to really look at these neighborhoods that don't have HOAs, where the city is accountable to hold us accountable, right? Accountability starts with us first, then our neighbors, and then, another body. And so, coming into this budget, I don't know if that's a reorganization with the police department, working hand in hand with code enforcement, working with the beautification team, and really just making, obviously I'm talking more so in Forest Park, but the east side of 95 as a whole, because that is around our downtown corridor. And if people are going to invest and buy in the city, I think it's important that it's clean, it's safe, it's abundance with illumination and light, and it's appealing, right? And if resources are the issue, then it's up to us to make that happen. And so if it's an increase in code officers, if it's a recycle of where their zones are, and what areas they're covering, if it's a reorganization city manager, which in my opinion, I think, that may be it. Maybe having these public safety departments work specifically together, in unison, to address a lot of these issues. And so I just want us to think about that moving into this budget cycle, and having that potential reorganization and leadership to focus on clean, safe, and follow up with quality of life issues. Thank you.
I do agree with that. I live in Forest Park, and I feel the frustration every day, and I think it also comes down to assessing the efficiency of the process of how things are reported, and is there patrol, or is that just left up to citizens? And I don't think it should be left up to citizens. I think there should be daily patrol in the more problem areas. I'll leave it at that for now. Okay, so let's move on to the community support funds. We have an addition from Commissioner Cruz for 500 Restoration Bridge. May we have a motion to approve this request?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Turkett made the motion. Vice Mayor Hay made the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to the consent agenda. If my colleagues want to pull any items from consent, let's begin with Commissioner Turkett to my left.
Just 6C.
Okay. Vice Mayor Hay?
I'm good.
I'll go ahead and pull 6H, but make it a very quick item.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner Turkin, would you like to begin with?
Yeah, if we can get that
Yeah,
presentation.
with C?
Can we approve the rest of the agenda, other than those two?
Motion to approve the remainder of consent.
Second.
Motion to approve the rest of the agenda.
Vice Mayor made the
Second.
motion to approve. Commissioner Turkin made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. Let's move on. C, go for it.
Yeah, if we can get
Commissioner Turkin.
staff's overview on that.
Oh, God, I just locked myself out again. Please.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ted Louis Jacques. I serve as the compliance manager for the Parking Services Division. So it's an opportunity, thank you here, to present to you the overview of the updated parking services schedule fees. All right. So this deck will outline the rationale and the anticipated outcome and projected financial impacts of the proposed parking rate adjustments. So my goal tonight is to really address the citation increase proposal, the parking rate increases, and the new processing fee for our services. Through here, I'd also like to say that these decisions are never suggested or proposed lightly. So I'm here to provide the reassurance about both the rationale and the intended outcome of these changes, and with little to no impact to our residents. So first, I'll bring up the proposed citation fee. Currently, the fee is set up at $25. So the proposed fee cost, it will be $40, and here's the reason why. So if we take Harvey Oil, for example, the daily max rate, the daily maximum is $35.35. Our current citation is $25. So it's easier for a, person to visit that park and take on the citation fee and stay for the whole entire day, because obviously at that point they won't be paying the daily max. So this is why we'd like to just make it more make it marketable for us to just be able to capture that daily rate at $40, and for them to be compliant, essentially. There you go. So I just explained it here. We see that it encourages a longer visit and stay at the park. It deters violators from not paying the daily max, and of course it reduces any citation dispute that we may have. Here, I'd like to talk about the historical parking rates, where from the inception of the program, we started at $1.50 in January of 2021. It's only increased one time, and which happened in October of 2023. So it went from $1.50 to $2.50. And at this point, this is where we're asking and proposing for it to go to $3.50, because this is a necessary step towards aligning our rates with the current operation costs. And of course, these proposed changes reflect thoughtful data analysis, improved enforcement, and sustainability funding for our park safety and improve amenities. So I'm very confident that these strategies serve both fiscal responsibility and public service excellence. And why the change? Our rate is at $2.50. It's some of the most affordable rate in Palm Beach County, Broward, and Miami-Dade. A lot of people like to visit our beach because, again, we're least expensive. And at this point, too, we're hoping to get a higher turnaround rate in order for our residents to be able to visit the park more often. So a lot of this really target some of the violators that either would come to the beach and not pay, or would come and just, not admit to or follow our rules at the beach. So we're looking to transition to a 2-hour minimum, where 2 hours and 9 minutes is the average stay of our visitors currently right now. So, and we'd like to add an hour in increments, and bring it up to $3.50. Here I put this slide together for the daily rate of other comparable communities in Palm Beach County. As you see, we're all amongst the lowest in the county. And to align with the observed and users pattern, we're hoping to increase our operational efficiency, and this model, it really better reflects the demand that we're seeing with the usage trends. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and we're very excited to offer this to military veterans and families in the city of Boynton Beach. And with that, so as you'll see, this will be beneficial to the community, to the veterans, to make sure that they feel valued within our city, and to participate within our community. So this right here will go a long way for them. As the residents go, $50 for seniors is how we're currently setting up right now with $65 for residents. So at $50, if it would benefit every resident who's interested in getting an annual pass to get the pass, because at any moment, any day, anytime, you can visit the beach. If you do not have a pass, by the time you visit the beach for the 7th time, you would have paid for an annual pass. So our goal is to really promote and advertise the annual pass for residents and senior residents, for them, military veterans as well, to get them to get this pass, because all of the benefits is right there, and it's at a lower cost for them than anybody else. Right here, we'd like to introduce a $10 processing fee. So with this graph, what I'm showing is between October 1st, 2023 and May 31st, 2024, and also over there, October 1st, 2024, and May 31st, 2025. We have waived 205 citations, right? That was last year. And this year, it has doubled. We have waived more than 400 citations. So with that, and it's for any reason. It can be someone entering a 0 instead of an O, or with their license plate. It could be many other reasons as well. So this figure right here, I'm tapping it, boom, right at the top. That's an untapped opportunity of $12,000 where we're looking to capitalize on that money that we're that's out there. Basically, every citation that we waive, we have to pay $3 to the vendor to waive the citation. So at this point right here, we're just trying to figure out ways to just make sure that this money either that we're spending, we're able to recoup some of it. In conclusion, I really want to say that this approach isn't just about increasing revenues, it's about smarter management. By aligning our parking fees with real behavior, we're able to create a system that works better for our residents, for our visitors, and for our city operation. So the additional revenues that we would be generating would enable us to have reinvestment into our parks, safety, personnel, accessibility, to ensure that we're continuing to deliver high-quality public service with fairness and with financial oversight. So before I end, I'd like to really take this opportunity to thank my staff in Parking Services and my colleague in Recreation and Cultural Services, my leadership team, as well as my colleagues in Finance and Procurement that helped me with putting this together and taking a look at ways that we can improve parking in the city and take it to the next step. With that, I yield my time, and I'd like to answer any questions that you may have.
The only question I have, and I'm glad to hear that you're giving a discount to the veterans, because, you know, that's the least we could do. But what kind of percent are we talking in discount?
It would be $50 a year.
Versus the 65?
Yeah, versus the 65 for a resident, and also 200 for the non-residents.
Okay.
Is this for the, I'm just a little confused because I hear beach, I hear Harvey Oyer. This is for the beach pass, the military and senior discount.
If you own, yes, it's for the beach, it's for the annual pass.
For the beach?
For the beach.
So it's $50 for a military veteran, and I guess you guys verify that. 65 for residents, right? And then if you don't get a pass, right now we're charging $250 an hour. And you want to increase that to $350 is what staff's proposal is?
Right.
All right, so is that $250 to $350, is that also at the boat ramp?
That would be at all parking,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, for both Harvey Oyer and for Oceanfront.
Yeah, so if, I'm not in favor of doing that unless we lower the annual pass for Harvey Oyer, because, you know, I don't want this to be a money grab, right? I know we have to be competitive. You know, I did see one slide of information that showed comparables with the other municipalities as far as the hourly rates. I don't know anything about passes. I don't know anything about military or senior discounts with the other municipalities. So I would want to see some more information on that first. But for me to increase again, you know, because a lot of people tell me, why am I having to pay for parking when I pay property taxes to park at a park, right? And that's a hard question to answer. You know, that's a valid point. And so, you know, the citation, I can definitely, you know, I think we should maybe even go higher on the citation. I think we definitely move forward with the citation, because if someone can park all day and it's lower than the actual amount, that's a great discovery. So I'm glad that's identified. But I would like to see some form of proposal to lower that annual pass, you know, for the people there, if we're going to be charging, you know, more elsewhere.
If I may, that's currently something that we're going to do a study on to figure out how much it is. Currently, it's at $200, and we'll be doing that study, and I can come back before you to present to you the findings about the possibility of lowering it to $100. I think you had mentioned last time.
Yep, perfect.
So one question and one comment. My one question would be, do we have a specific number of designated parking spaces for the annual passes? Because if we're gonna make it, you know, obviously it's great that it's affordable at $50 for seniors and military veterans. How many of those are available to give out? Because we have about 80,000 residents, and obviously we have a lot of seniors. So how many do we have? How many do we give out per year?
So how many passes do we give out? So for the annual permits currently are at 1,667. That's what it was last fiscal year, that permits that we were able to sell. So I think at the beach, where it's 267 spots, that's going to be a lot. I mean, we can figure out what the percentage could be if that's something that, you know, this body would like to see. And, you know, that's something that we can definitely do a quick study on and do the research about. So with that is, if, let's just say there's 25 spots that are there that are designated for residents, then that's where they would only be able to park. And, you know, we have, like you said, 80,000 residents. So, you know, we'd get into like some issues there.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just constraint spots. This is why we would like to increase this rate to get the overtime, the turnaround of the parking spaces more frequent, and that would allow for residents to be able to enjoy the beach and go there.
Thank you. And then I do have a comment with regard to the 2-hour minimum for parking. I am against it. I think that we should have the freedom to park as short as long as we want to. I don't think we need to overly regulate the amount of time that you go to the beach. I can tell you, my family and I have gone to the beach for 1 hour during sunset many times, and I know a lot of my constituents also have gone for shorter time. So, you know, I don't see a necessity of overly regulating a minimum of 2 hours. I would support maybe a minimum of 1 hour, if anything. But just like letting people, you know, if you just want to go for an hour, I don't think that we should preclude people from doing that. And then with regard to the increase, you know, I do understand that there's reasons for the increase. Generally speaking, a lot of my constituents are senior citizens, so I would, you know, usually not be in favor of having too many increases with, you know, fees or parking or that things of that nature. Thank you.
Any other comments?
No, I mean, you know, I would support maybe a minimum 1 hour. I'm okay with the increases if I do see that come back in regards to the annual pass for Harvey Oyer, right? You know, we have to give if we're gonna get, we have to be fair. And so, you know, I'm okay to move forward if we change, I don't know if we can change the language, or staff wants to come back with some of these comments and then propose, you know, a couple of options.
That's up to the commission. If you'd like to approve it tonight as is, we can make those amendments as a part of the motion to change the hour from 2 hours to 1. And then if you wanted to lower the annual boat resident pass, we could do that on an amendment tonight if you felt like you had a number that it would be at.
With regard to the boat pass, are you referring to also like city residents or just everyone in general? Because I know a lot of.
City residents.
Okay, so that's.
Yeah,
So-
not wide
Because there's a
open.
lot of people that are from.
I got to clarify that because we got grant money for the boat ramps there. We have to charge the same price to any resident in the state of Florida. So it's a resident for a Florida pass. It's in non-residences, I think it's at $370 or $325 or something. like that.
Non-Florida residents.
Correct.
Okay, and what is it at for Florida?
200.
200, yeah, and I think that increase was done over COVID. I'd like to see that $100 and get back to the pre-COVID, you know, that hurt a lot of commercial fishermen when they closed the boat road. It was no one here on this dais, right? But they hurt a lot of people's businesses and took a lot of food off people's tables, you know, because they closed that boat ramp. And then when they opened it back up, they increased it to $200. So I would definitely like to see that back to 100.
So do we table this and look into it later so that we can discuss this? Because
If staff's comfortable
I have a
with-
little bit of a concern with cutting the price in half, because what that's gonna do to my constituents, it's gonna, to our constituents, right, as a whole. We're lowering the price to people within the state of Florida, not really, and I know you're coming from a great place, like you wanna help. And I applaud you for that, but I'm also thinking like, we're getting into a place where I would suggest that we look into really supporting our local taxpayers and our residents and our seniors, which I think we're doing. But cutting the Harvey Orr in half, which I'm not against it, but I'm concerned that if people are already paying that price now and they're able to pay it, if we cut that in half, that's gonna create a disparate impact to the other people in order to still pay the cost of things, because we still have to pay for a lot of the other things. So just, maybe we could table this and look into it. I would
Mayor,
support
if I
that.
may.
Yes.
Thank you. Do you know where the next closest boat ramp is to Harvey Orr? No.
It seems like it's really far. I don't know.
Tell us instead of asking questions.
I don't know.
Just-
I don't fish. I
Right.
don't know.
It's Lantana Boat Ramp. And so, you know, a lot of people that utilize that annual pass are Boynton business owners, are Boynton residents. And again, it used to be $100, you know, and that was increased during COVID. A lot of things happened during COVID. And so, you know, I would take the time and I'd go talk to those people, you know, because you'll get a different story. And, yeah, I definitely agree. You know, you're definitely gonna have people from outside, you know, they utilize that boat ramp because it's the closest to the inlet. That's the benefit. It's closest to the inlet. You get to that deep body water quick, and you're able to, you know, recreational fish, commercial fish, go to the market, you know, you save time. Time is money. And so, you know, I think if we're increasing elsewhere, it's fair to decrease, you know, elsewhere. And if, you know, there's Lantana, there's Delray, there's Boca, you know, it's not gonna be bombarded. There are a good amount of boat ramps, you know, in the South County area. So I'm gonna stay firm on, you know, reducing it.
Do we table it and look into it later and see if that's feasible? Or what do we do?
Someone make a motion. Is there a motion to table the item?
Based on where we are and the discussion we're having, I make a motion to table it.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor Hay made the motion to table it. Commissioner Turkin made the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. So now we're moving on to H. So do we have city staff for this one? Come on down. I always feel like Bob Barker when I say that.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, RJ Ramirez, I'm the Community Improvement Manager. This item is just to get an extension on a contract that we enter with Habitat for Humanity to rehab a property belonging to a very low disabled veteran. So Habitat for Humanity is asking for 2 additional months to complete this project. The contract is to end on June 30th, but because Commission is going to be on recess, I brought this item before you today. So if you have any question about this item,
Thank you. No, I just want to thank you, RJ, for everything you're doing. I know you're working with Habitat, and you guys have been working very diligently to move this project forward. And so I just wanted to let everyone know that this is for a disabled veteran who is currently homeless in our city and needs to get back into his home. So I definitely support, with this extension. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Cruz made the motion. First motion, Vice Mayor Hay made the second motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Nay. Motion passed. I'm sorry, I said it. Motion passes unanimously. I'm an aye. Okay. Those are done with those. We're moving on to consent bids and purchases over 100,000. If my colleagues would like to pull any items, let's begin with Commissioner Cruz, to my right.
Only one item, 7C, and just making it very brief.
Okay.
2 to 5 minutes.
Vice Mayor Hay?
No.
Commissioner Turkin?
Yeah, if I can just get some information on the Chapel Hill item, I can push that out so we can
Okay.
save some time.
Great. If there are no further changes, do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
You guys are like auctioneers at night around this time. Okay, Commissioner Turkin made the motion. Commissioner Cruz made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. And then we are pulling the C.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Rick Hoffer, Assistant Director of Public Works. This item is part of the $19 million Sandcastle project. Of note is that $16.5 million of the $19 million is grant funded, which is a good thing. Project includes design and construction of roadway, water distribution, wastewater collection, and drainage improvements. Keith here is to talk a little bit about the actual improvements.
Thank you.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. As part of this project, there's about $16.5 million in construction. The main, part of this project and the grant is for stormwater improvements and roadway improvements. Out of that $16.5 million, right now, we're projecting about $6 million of that to be for sewer and water improvements. We don't know exactly what those improvements are at this time, because right now we're going out for the design and to evaluate the Sandcastle area and to figure out exactly which roads will be improved, which parts of the utilities will be improved. But right now, we're at the evaluation phase of that project, but about $6 million of that is for water and wastewater improvements.
Thank you. Actually, since we don't have that information today, can we, the whole commission, get that information in the future? Because I think it's important to focus on drainage and, infrastructure as a whole, but also sewage, right? It's such an important thing, and I know there's a lot of outdated sewage systems in the city, specifically in those neighborhoods. So if we can get information once you guys work together with, the contractor, so just let the commission know what specific sewage improvements we're going to be making, I would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. It'll probably be a year away by
Okay.
the time that we're giving you an update on that, at least. Utilities is going there next year to do some lining in the Sandcastle area. We have $1 million currently that we're asking for in our budget for next year to start lining the sewer mains. But our operations team is working diligently to camera those sewer mains and see the conditions that they're in so that we can determine which areas that we need to go to in the Sandcastle area.
All right. Thank you so much for your update.
Thank you.
Motion to approve, 7C.
Commissioner Cruz made a motion to approve R25-144. Vice Mayor Hay made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Mayor, I think it was 149, sorry to.
Was it? Oh,
Yeah.
144. Oh.
Motion, sorry.
R25-149.
Thank you.
And we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. That's what I get for getting my new bifocals, getting adjusted to them. Okay. We have 3 public hearing items. Public comment will be permitted on items 8A, B, and C. I'll turn to the city clerk to read 8A into the record, please.
Proposed ordinance number 25-009, second reading, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Part 3, Land Development Regulations, Chapter 2, Land Development Process, Article 6, Impact and Selected Fees, Section 7, Palm Beach County Fees, removing Palm Beach County Park impact fees from Land Development Regulations, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Can we please have staff begin the presentation?
Good evening, City Commission. Gabe Savigny, Principal Planner. This is a second reading, and there were no changes from the first reading.
Sorry.
Second reading.
So that's second reading, so we don't need the presentation? Okay. Public comment is permitted as well.
So I
Okay.
believe we had a presentation with regard to this item at the last meeting, so we might not need it again.
Are there any questions from the commission? Comments? If there's nothing else, we have a motion to approve.
Motion
proposed
to approve.
ordinance.
Second?
Vice Mayor Hay made the motion to proposed ordinance number 25-009. Commissioner Cruz made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, it's a roll call.
Oh,
Yep. We're getting there. It's the quasi judicial stuff, yeah.
Commissioner Turkin is absent from the dais. Commissioner Cruz?
yes.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Yes.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
And roll call vote, the motion passed 3-0.
Okay. Items A, B, and C are also quasi judicial, and I'll turn to the clerk to swear in anyone here to speak on those items.
Before we swear in, we need to discuss taking testimony online from people who are not present and the ability for us to swear them in.
Just going to ask that because I see we have Guy and
So
Craig.
I believe that they would need to be sworn in individually before they offer any testimony or public comment. But if we could swear in everyone else at this time.
Okay. Anyone who is here to speak on items 8B and C, please stand up or raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may have a seat.
If each commissioner can please make any disclosures at this time regarding items 8B first and then 8C. Commissioner Cruz, we can start with you.
As to this matter, I
And
have.
if you could just do them separately, we'll do 8A first, or 8B first, and then we can wait and do 8C right before 8C, or we can do them together.
We can do them together.
Okay.
But separately. With regard to 8B, disclosures, and then with regard to 8C, disclosures.
Okay.
With regard
gotcha.
to AB disclosures, as to this matter, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not, well, I might have received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit, and I have not received expert opinions other than staff. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record. With regard to 8C, as to this matter, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit, and I have not received expert opinions other than our staff members. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Vice Mayor Hay.
With reference to 8B, I have not had ex parte communication. I have not had received any written communication. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinion except from staff, and I request that these disclosures and all written communication be part of the record. As for 8C, I have not had ex parte communication. I have not received written communication. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinion except from staff. I request that these disclosures and written communication be part of the record.
Commissioner Turkin.
Thank you, Mayor. In regards to 8B, I have not had ex parte communications. I have had emailed communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I've not made a site visit. I've not received expert opinions. In regards to 8C, I have had communications with Brett Cerubi. I have not received written communications. I have conducted investigation. I'm sorry, I have not conducted investigation. I have been there before, so I have made a site visit, and I've not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Regarding items 8B, I have not had any ex parte communication, have not received any written communication, have not conducted an investigation, have not made any site visit, and have not received any expert opinions. Regarding items 8C, I have not had any ex parte communication, I have not received written communication, I have not conducted an investigation, I have not made a visit site, and I have not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communication be made part of the record. Moving on to,
C, did you do?
oh, I did B. I did them both.
You did both?
Yeah, I did B and C. I just did it so fast, like lightning.
Keep you on your toes.
Sorry, yes. Okay. Moving on to the first quasi judicial item, I have the clerk read the title into the record.
Approve request for conditional use and a major site plan modification for Grace Point Seventh-day Adventist Church to allow for modifications to existing footprint with an addition to accommodate new ADA bathrooms and associated site modifications, including ramps. The subject site is 2.3 acres located at 138 Southeast 27th Avenue.
Could we please have staff begin the presentation?
Good evening. My name is John Stout. I have been sworn in. I am a planner here. This is an existing church in our community. This is for a major site plan modification and conditional use approval for a church. The project site is located just east of the Boynton Health Center, as well as just east of Seacrest. I believe that's the proposal. The background for this project is this is an existing church that received a condition of approval, or sorry, a certificate of occupancy back in 1992. What the church would like to do is update their existing site and existing sanctuary for ADA compliance. At this time, the church is, all churches in a residential zoning district are considered must go through a conditional use approval. With this church, however, they have not done that yet. And what this process is to bring them into compliance so they can then bring their building into ADA compliance as well. I kind of went fast in the interest of time tonight. This is the floor plan. You can see it's off to the west side of the sanctuary where they're adding some ADA ramps outside on either side, north and south, as well as a entrance vestibule into the sanctuary, and the ADA bathrooms are a little bit further north. And the addition is it is very conducive to the existing architecture and fits in really nicely in between two existing buildings and under where a existing overhang already exists. So the footprint of the church is not going to be changing more than 700 square feet. Staff recommends approval of this conditional use and major site plan modification. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission?
Motion to approve.
Public comment is permitted at this time. Do we have anyone on public comment? Okay. If there's nothing else, may we have a motion to approve the major site modification and conditional use approval for Grace Point Seventh-day Adventist?
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Turkin made the motion, Vice Mayor Hayes second. All those in favor say, oh no, we do. Do we roll call on this one? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Turkin?
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Yes.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
And roll call vote, the motion passed unanimously.
Nice, okay. All right, moving on to the second quasi judicial item. I'll have the clerk read the title into the record.
Approval of variance request from Part 3, Chapter 3, Article 5, Section 3.0, supplemental regulations to grant an increase of more than 1/4 the width of the waterway up to 32 feet into the waterway for a dock where no more than 1/4 of the width is permitted.
Will you please have staff begin the presentation?
Gabe Savigny, Principal Planner. We would request that the applicant present first since the proof of, is on the applicant to present.
Okay.
Good evening. David Millage from the firm Municipal Backman, for the record, on behalf of the applicant. On the screen shows the contextual location of the property. It's north of Martin Luther King Boulevard. It's near the inlet on the east side of Federal Highway along the Intracoastal Waterway. This is a zoomed-in perspective of the property. This is a 32 townhome-style unit development. It's approximately 5 acres. It has R3 multifamily zoning. It's within the MCL land use. So we're requesting a variance from the limitations set forth in your Article 5, Section 3.0. Now, I do want to mention a couple items. One is that we originally proposed this variance after discussions with staff to help with enforceability of the variance. But I do want to state for the record that the intent of the HOA, who is the applicant, is that they are just seeking a variance based off of the existing locations of the docks or whatever is permissible by code. So we're not looking to extend the docks any further than they are allowed by code or what's existing. I did draft a proposed condition of approval, which would help staff in the city to enforce this. And I will read that at the end of my presentation. So this project dates back to the 1980s. There is an approved master dock plan which shows docks at that time. These docks are vested and are legally non-conforming. So we're not asking for any new entitlements besides the variance. This is just an aerial from 95. You know, the docks were constructed, they're being used, so there is a lot of history relating to these docks. We had a plan prepared by our surveyor, which proposes this new lines and also identifies the location of the existing docks. And this is just a zoomed-in perspective of one of the areas along this canalway. And it shows this 32 feet that originally we were proposing. This was the maximum length at that point. But all of the docks are shown. Their dock limits are also provided on this plan. So why do we need this request? Well, through the history of the city's LDRs, the code has changed and now these docks are legally non-conforming. The next couple slides I'm going to be showing you is that this is a very unique and special property. Unlike a lot of new developments nowadays, the developer would go in and put in a seawall, and that seawall would be, parallel to the canal, But here, there's a natural shoreline, and there's also the presence of mangroves. So that, and I can't speak for the original developer in the 1980s, but they were likely trying to preserve this shoreline and these mangroves. So that's why these docks were constructed the way they were, to go around this vegetation. And also to extend out further from this natural shoreline because of depth of water. And this is down the length of the canal. As it relates to depth of water, they went out there, they did depth soundings. The numbers that are shown on the screen are what the median height of the water would be, and then at low tide, you would deduct another 2 feet. So there are areas that get very close to grounding a vessel, but generally there's, say, 2 to 3 feet at low tide. So again, if the docks were closer inland, there would be an issue there, especially since there's a natural shoreline with these properties. The next couple slides I prepared, obviously they're not technical, but it just, again, this shows you the width of the existing canal. With, as proposed and as existing today, this one dock can go side by side. I would appreciate some decorum.
If we can keep any public comments just to quiet at the moment and let him have the floor.
So again, this is what is existing, and again, the proposal is to keep what is existing, which again is vested and legally non-conforming. As it relates to turnaround, not scientific, but the minimum width required for a boat to turn around is its length, unlike a car, which has different turning maneuvers, requires different type of auto turn analysis. So this is the criteria set forth in the city's code. We meet all criteria as further supported by the staff's analysis. And for my last mention, I would like to do is read out a condition of approval, which would or should alleviate the neighbors' concerns. The condition of approval would state, provide an exhibit which depicts individual dock limits to be up to 1/4 the width of the waterway, or what is currently existing as shown on the plans prepared by Principal Meridian Surveying dated May 6, 2025. So I've discussed this condition of approval with staff. They'll come up and provide their own opinion. But with the variance, it established their ability to repair and replace the existing docks. So these docks, some of them are decades old. They are in need of repair. So there is a life safety issue for them to be able to come in and seek a permit. And this all originated from one of the owners coming in to get a permit to replace their dock, not to extend it, but just to replace it because some of the pilings are degrading, they need new decking. But unfortunately, zoning flagged an issue relating to the current LDRs. This is just establishing what's there today, and that is the request, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board or the commission might have.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
For the graph that you had with the boat turning around, what size boat is that?
I couldn't even tell you.
So is that a realistic graph?
I
just want to throw that out there because that's a very subjective thing. I understand and I appreciate the I appreciate the condition of approval that you're presenting before us. But you know, that is to me that is misleading. I know this canal, and you know, for a 16-foot, 17, 18-foot boat maybe, but when you get in, you know, mid-20s, that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. The rest of my questions will probably be for staff with regards to the water rights for the neighbors, because I would like to know if they wanted to do the same thing and they could, in theory, expand their dock space, then no one's getting in or out. And so, you know, that's a question I have for staff. But I do appreciate you proposing something that'll help, you know, mitigate the concerns of the residents. I do appreciate, so thank you for coming prepared with that.
I appreciate your comment. And just to clarify, the intent and request is not to expand any docks. It's just to establish what is existing today. But if there's any other questions from the commission, I'll be happy to answer.
Do you want staff to come up?
Yep. I think staff has a
Yeah, from
presentation,
staff.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, Gabe Savigny, Principal Planner, we do have a presentation ready. So it is 800 Mariners Way variance, and we'll go on the location again as that one was covered. The overview, again, is the request from code supplemental regulations to allow a dock to exceed the quarter width of the canal or the waterway, in this case, a maximum of 32 feet. Some of the background on the site, again, as prescribed, you will see some difference in that acreage right there. This is 2.52 because the acreage in particular for where the docks are located is within a tract. So this presentation is based off of that, while the applicant's presentation is based on the entirety of the development, just in case there was any questions for that. Again, most of the decks that were found through staff's research, at least literally 95% of them were found to be already permitted previously before. Doesn't mean that the other ones weren't, but that was what staff was able to find. That being said, the portion of legal nonconformity was brought up in the staff report that was prepared for commission, that if any legal nonconformity are subject to regulations, if they are to be fully repaired or replaced. In that case, if it's 50% or more, then they are required to come into compliance with the current code. And if there's an evaluation that's higher than 30% as well, there are certain conditions that any new development has to come into compliance. Therefore, several of the decks that do exceed that current quarter of the width would not be fit to be able to come that way. They would have to either apply for the variance or meet code. Throughout the staff report and the product statement that was sent over by the applicant, you can tell that some of the justification was the natural shorelines, the mangroves, the depths of the water that would negate that process to be able to come closer to the shoreline. Therefore, that's why staff does support the application. You'll see on the screen before you, I know it's a little bit small, but there is a green line, a blue line, and then there's red measurements. The red measurements are the estimated width of the canal. The blue line is the estimated location of the 32-foot maximum length, while the green line would be what the maximum for what would be permitted by code. This is for the stakeholder portions of it, so the application is required to both post a sign on the property and post or send notifications to property owners within 400 feet of the application. Upon the signs posting is when staff did receive some communications from the HOA to the south. And to my regret, I did not realize that they were separate HOAs, or there would have been a lot more further communication. However, staff does apologize for that, but upon hearing that, we were trying to work with the HOA as much as possible. We did receive a letter from the attorney yesterday that was forwarded on. I don't know if you guys were able to receive that, but I did hear the communication was not brought up. That could be because it's in my first variance with the city of Boynton, and again, I do apologize for any of that miscommunication. So a recommendation again from staff, we do support this as it does meet the general criteria for the variance request. If the city commission does support the conditions of approval that the applicant did support, then we can work with them to be able to create that document that only the docks as they currently are the only ones that could come in meeting that current criteria, or the way that if they could meet the quarter width of the canal, or again, the maximum would still be that 32 foot for that one dock. I believe that's questions for staff.
I don't have any questions. I'd just like to see it. I need a visual, so.
Yeah, my position is I'd like to table this item. A lot more questions. Thank you again for holding yourself accountable. You don't have to do that. So thank you. There was confusion about the HOAs. I think more communication needs to happen. And I have a lot more questions, and for sake of time and due diligence, which I'm not going to make the same mistake again,
Right.
I'm going to ask that we table and make a motion to table this item.
Yep, and I agree. I'll second your motion, and I do want to say, I applaud you for making that second comment you made about what would happen with the adjacent property owner if they needed to, or if they wanted to have the same ability to extend as well? Are we able to do that? And if the answer is no, then we really need to think about that and, be fair with all property owners.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Turkin and a second from Commissioner Cruz to table the variance request for Mariners Way.
Public
We're
comment.
tabling.
Pardon me?
Public comment.
Oh,
Public
public comment, my bad. Come on up, line up for public comment. Yeah, if I'm tabling it, do I need to do public comment?
My name is Mike Delgadio. I live in Manatee Cove. First and foremost, I don't think anybody's going to extend their dock 32 feet into the canal. My purpose of the variance is to rebuild my existing dock that has deteriorated to the point of being unsafe and unusable. The current structure is about to collapse into the water and pose a hazard not only to our property, but to the aesthetics of the overall safety of the neighborhood. It's important to note that the neighbors across the canal are faced daily with the viewing of this unsightly, rotting eyesore that negatively impacts the image and the value of our community. By rebuilding the dock, I am improving the appearance and the safety of the area, which ultimately benefits the property owners and preserve the enhanced property values. Concerns have been raised about larger boats in the canal and navigation. Let us be clear. The project does not encroach further into the waterway. If a vessel cannot safely, responsibly navigate the canal with the existing dock configurations, then it's likely that the vessel is too large or the operator may need to reconsider their boating capabilities. The effort is not only about personal property rights, it's about maintaining the integrity and appeal of our shared community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on public comment? And if there is anyone else, please come down to the podium now. Okay.
Online. We're going to start with in-person, and then we'll go online. So if you're in the audience and you want to give comment on this item?
I was going to let our attorney speak first, if that was, are we going to be able to have public comment after our attorney speaks?
Typically, if we were tabling an item, we wouldn't allow public comment because we would allow, it's tabled. No decision is being made today, so we would typically allow public comment when this comes back up.
So,
Public comment?
Can I just voice my comment?
I think that because people showed up, we should have public comment.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go, then you go, then the attorney will go. Because maybe the attorney's going to want to chime in on something that one of you guys says. So we're going to let the
You
attorney
know what the
speak
proper
last.
format was, so.
Yeah, so you go, 3 minutes.
Barry Katz from Mariner Village. A little bit confused why they're asking for the variance if they're not going to expand the docks any further out in the canal. But I would like to state that a lot of their docks that are already out in the canal have davits. So that not only is the length of their canal, now they have a davit outside their canal. Our side, we don't have davits. So if we were then to put up davits, which is up to our prerogative on our property line, that now creates a navigational problem within the canal. It's his comment, if you can't turn a boat around correctly, I've been boating since the age of 13. I can turn a boat around. My boat is 34 feet long. I need every bit of space in that canal to navigate my boat in a circle. Well, that's your opinion. You know, I'm allowed to have that size boat.
From the audience.
I'm allowed to have that size boat on my property that is deeded. My dock is deeded for a 34-foot dock. So again, that is a problem. So you do need to come out and see the site. It's not a clean. Again, the other issue is if it's a issue of how deep the canal is, there's a resolution of that, and that is to dredge the canal, which we have done over the years because as time goes, the canals will fill in with debris. And just like they just did at the boat ramp, you have to dredge these canals. So if you need more water, that's one of the options is to dredge the canal. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, please. And then you'll be next.
Mike Reese again.
you'll
Just
go
real
next.
quickly, I just don't understand why the variance would be for the entire side, the north side of that canal. If we've got one dock that's in question, 32 feet, that they're trying to, I guess, kind of back into, permitting and rebuilding, we're all for that. We want the docks to be safe and well-constructed and put together properly. But the way that I look at that variance, it's a a blanket variance for the whole side. So it means everybody gets to kick their docks out 10 feet. And that would cause problems. And for sure, to answer that question, and I'm not going under oath, that would not work if we put our docks out 10 feet as well. You know, then nobody's getting anywhere inside of that dock. And that's all I have. Thank you.
You go.
Hi, Kevin Beatty. I'm at 752 Mariners Way. I just purchased there. I am the 32-foot dock extension that's out there. I've been looking at this community and the community across the way for several years. It's a dream for me to live there. I'm really excited to be there. I love our neighbors on both sides of the canal. We do a fishing tournament with them every single year where we come together, we talk about what we caught or didn't catch like last year. We celebrate together at the pool. We have a great time. There is no intent for us to encroach into the waterway any more than we already have. We bought this property because of the mangroves and because of the dock and because of the neighbors, and we want to keep it that way. We are not extending any further into the canal. I apologize if it appears that that's the case. That's not our intention whatsoever. My understanding is that individual variances were filed. We were told that we needed to file as an entity altogether. So here we are, asking for a variance as a community, as directed. We're protecting ourselves and our neighbors by saying we're not extending any further into the canal. I have a boat that's not as big as Barry's, but I need all the help that I can get turning it around, and I don't want to see anyone else build into the canal either. So I would ask that you give us this variance so that we can fix our docks as they are right now, not extend any further into the canal, and move on and enjoy our time here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, sir, if you could come up to the podium.
Good evening. Casey Easley, I live in Manatee Cove. We're applying for the variance. The initial intent was we had a couple of residents that wanted to rebuild their dock and do the right thing and pull permits. This is a requirement from the city. That's why we're here. We're spending thousands of dollars on surveys, and then the city said that's not a correct survey, and then here we are spending thousands of dollars on another survey, and now we have a land use attorney, and our residents' intent is to enjoy and use their dock as intended, not to extend it out 32 feet into the canal, making it difficult for our neighbors on the other side in Mariners Way or Mariners Village. So that was our original intent. It was the requirement by the city. This is why we're all standing here tonight. The intent was not to extend our docks another 10 feet into the canal. They just wanted to do the right thing, pull a permit, hire a contractor, but here we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Again, Brett Cerubi. I'm in Mariners Village. I have friends on both sides of the canal. We all get along. We all do a fishing tournament. I'm not here to ruffle any feathers. If you do give approval for up to 10 extra feet for docks, people are going to do it. I know if I moved into this neighborhood and I bought a house and had to redo the dock, and you said, you can actually go 10 feet further, I'm building my dock 10 feet further, without a doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. And as the community starts to have overturn in there, new people are coming in, and new people are gonna take advantage of the 10 feet dock. Not saying that anyone's trying to do harm here, but if you put this into play, someone's gonna use it, and it's just gonna turn into a nightmare over time. And then we're gonna have to do the same thing. I'm gonna come here and put a motion to give us 10 more feet, because why would I not wanna put my dock out? So I'm just saying, if you do put it in play, that's what's gonna happen. I don't think there's malintent with what's going on because it's one person that they wanna have right now. But if we do approve this, years go by and now our canal has stuttered docks pushing out and we're now navigating this weird canal. It's no longer a good house in the water. It's now a tough spot to live. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you've already made
You've
a
already
public
spoken,
comment,
yeah.
yeah, you can't speak again. And were you sworn in? Yeah, you need to be sworn in. Melee. Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Again, I'm Charlie Wiener. I'm with Boynton Beach Mariner Village across the canal from the community asking for the variance. And I guess I just want to make a comment that it does feel in our community like there was a lack of communication and an escalated timeline on for us dealing with this. And if I heard correct, I think some of that was a mistake on the part of the city. And I'm hearing that the city, that the Mariners Way had submitted individual variances, and then the city said, no, you need to submit an association variance. And I'm just wondering if some of that decision-making process on how the city dealt with Mariners Way was because they did not realize that we are two different communities. So I think there were a lot of things that maybe didn't work as perfectly as they should have going into this. And I would really like to see that whole variance rewritten and readdressed going forward in a way that won't cause so much angst on both sides in both communities. That's what I want to say.
Thank you.
If you're coming up to make a comment and you haven't been sworn in, please be sworn in.
I can do it again if you like.
Haley?
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Martin Kalita. I live in Manatee Cove. I'd like to agree with Brett and with Barry. I think that they are under the impression that our neighborhood is trying to do what they think that we're trying to do, but we're not. We're not asking to stick out anymore. The attorney showed the blue line and the green line. That's just where the stuff already is. But the people in my neighborhood are trying to get permits to fix their dock correctly. And I've been there for 15 years, and personally I can tell you that was impossible. So in order to do the right thing, we have to get this variance. And that's all we're asking for. They drew the line on the map. If Brett wanted to stick his dock out, we would be pissed. You know, I understand it. I understand Barry's point. I understand some of the other people's too. But that's not what we're doing. All we're trying to do is get right with the city so we can fix our docks correctly to the law, to the code, because it's just the Wild West over there. You've been there. It's a cool place, but it's the Wild West because nobody can get a permit, so why bother even trying? And that's not the city that I think any of us want to live in. So that's why we're asking for the variance. It's what the building department wants us to do, so we're just trying to comply. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you.
Good.
Hello, my name is.
You need to be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Veronica Delgado, and I'm the reason why we're here. Our dock is falling apart. We've been dealing with this for 3 years or more, trying to rebuild our dock. We came to the city and asked for a permit. We did the application. We did the whole 9 yards, and then we were denied. The city requests us to do the variance. So we follow in the steps of the city, and that's why we're here. They told us we don't know how to do the variance, so we have to call an attorney, and we have to comply with what the city requests. We didn't want to go further, okay? But the city says that this is the process that we need to follow, so this is what we are. We don't, like we said, if you think that we're going to go 10 feet in the water, it's going to be it's not going to be beneficial to us either. We're going to have problems, so we can come in and out. So that is not what we intend to do. So we just ask for permission to build my dock. It's falling apart. It's like, I mean, the pilings are like this, like a timing clock. I don't know how you call it, but it is like that. And really, we need it. It's like we're pleading for that. We just need to rebuild, not rebuild it, replace our dock. That's all we're asking for. And if it's any clause that we have to put, I don't know. I mean, like we say, we're following what the city or the zone or whoever told us to apply. We're just following their requests. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's move on to online. We have Guy. Yeah, the attorney.
Good evening.
I need him to be present on the screen so I can physically see him be sworn in. Otherwise, we can't allow online comment. Okay, there you are.
Good evening.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So, want to thank everybody. I represent the association eloquently called the one across the canal. I understand that you're tabling it. I think what the commission is hearing is a lot of misunderstanding on both ends of it. You've got a variance request across the board for a 32 length dock. You've got people saying we only want one of those docks, which is an existing 32, to be done. We need better language in this. I did talk to Gabe about this. I was trying to suggest language in my letter, which you all received. So you know, all of the drawings, all of the renditions in the letter are taken from the applicant, not from me. And as you can see from those renditions, from those drawings and those overheads, it is not a parallel set of seawalls or equidistant along the canal. And that's part of the problem, and we understand that. And that's why a blanket variance allowing this across the board won't work. Again, I understand you're tabling it. What I wanted to do and what I suggested to Gabe is that similar to a stacking issue, a turn issue, that you need some type of study to show what the impact would be on the different areas there and to ensure that it doesn't impact the turn radius of anybody's vessel on either side and that you account for it. And finally, what I suggested was the fact that there needs to be a dredging plan in place, because a lot of this has to do with the depth of the water and the desire of the applicant to have their docks extend further out so that they are in deeper water. Well, as I think it was Barry who pointed out so eloquently, and I thank you guys for making everybody go first. They did my job much better than I can, is they pointed out the fact that our community does dredge, and that not frequent enough do we have participation on both sides with the cost sharing and to allow dredging on both sides to occur. So there's a number of things that have to happen. I think the planner acknowledged gracefully that maybe there was a lack of communications. We want an opportunity, we may commission a study, a marine study, to be able to come in there, talk about the dredging, talk about the turn radius, and about limitations that are specifically set forth to all of the existing docks on the applicant's side, so that there's not a confusion of some blanket across the board, because you hear everybody saying, well, of course we don't want blanket across the board, but the application is a blanket across the board, 32 foot. So with all that, I don't want to belabor it. It's getting late. I'm sure you all want to go home, as everybody there does as well. I just want to ensure that while we have tabled it, and I understand it's been tabled, that there's an appreciation of what what's left to really do here to understand what needs to be done to go forward on this, so it's a clear on both sides and it benefits both sides, and that both sides can participate in the longevity of using this to everybody's satisfaction. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yes. So what I'm hearing is we're just trying to do what the city tells us to do. And we're just wanting to fix our docks. We want to, spend money. Staff saying, here's what you need to do. We're thinking it's one thing. Then we're thinking it's a blanket. Then we don't know that these are two different associations. We all make mistakes. No one's perfect, right? So I think we need to go back to the drawing board on this, get creative to where both HOAs can come to the table, right? Because if you're not at the table, what do you say? You're on the menu.
On the menu.
That's right. So I thank everyone for coming out. You guys are just trying to do what the city's telling you to do, based on code and our building department. Staff is trying to do their best job. And so I think we need to, I'm going to maintain my position on tabling this item and going back to the drawing board. I do have a lot of questions for staff offline. And I do probably want to talk to some of the neighbors as well, and again, make another site visit. Thanks.
It's a roll call.
Do you have?
We already have it. Yeah, we already have it. We have
It's
the
already been
second.
made, and that's my point.
Yeah.
Okay. You have additional information?
I'm available just to answer some questions, and I could clarify some of the things that have been stated if the commission would like me to.
Okay. No, my comment is an FYI. Okay. When you table an item, okay, it is tabled. No further discussion. We voted on it. We agreed that it should be tabled. There's no more discussion. I understand what was happening. That's why I didn't say anything earlier, because it was great information, and we needed to hear it. But if we are Robert Rules of Order or if we're not, once we table an item, it is tabled unless one of us make a motion to take it off the table for further discussion, which we did not do. So going by whatever rules you want to go by, this whole discussion was from that side of the fence, illegal, if you want to use that term, but I understand the purpose of it, the purpose of what we're doing. But we just need, going down the road from this point on, we need to get some clarity on that because this was improper. That's all I'm saying to you.
I understand it comes off improper, and I get it. I just think that we did have a full packed house of people, and these, schools letting out, and people may not be able to come to another meeting. And, the one thing that I think we all need to step up a little bit as elected officials is to be available to our constituent base. So I understand it might have stepped out of the bounds of parliamentary procedure, but at least we know that we did hear both sides of this, so I'm grateful for that.
I want to concur, Mayor. I think you did the right
Then
thing.
let's move on.
Parliamentary procedure it's guidelines. It's not law. There is nothing illegal about pausing and letting residents speak who've been here for 3 hours.
But in the meantime,
Yeah.
since we already have a motion, and we have a second,
We've already voted.
so
We voted on it.
we didn't vote it, we just had the motions, but we didn't do all those in favor. Yep,
And I did.
and you had the second.
Second, sure.
One of you seconded it. So
Second.
Commissioner Turkin has made it to table, made a motion to table. Commissioner Cruz made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. There is no city manager report. We're going to move on to the regular agenda item. The first item in regard to the Community Development Block Grant for fiscal year 2025. Could we please have staff begin their presentation? Where is staff? Yeah, and for the next presentation, staff already come down and be ready to roll.
All right. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioner, RJ Ramirez once again, Community Improvement Manager. I have just a few slides, and I'm going to try to be pretty quick on it. So this is about the Community Development Block Grant. The city gets an annual allocation from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. If I can go to the next slide, please. Oh, I do? Okay, awesome, thank you. All right, so, all right, gotcha. Okay, thank you. So this year, HUD published the allocation for the city of Boynton Beach to be $500,000, let me get my thing, $500,962. So just for the mayor's education, because your first time doing this, so this location can be split 3 ways. So the first one, which is the most popular, is the public service part of it, which is 15%, which nonprofit organizations use these funds to be able to provide social services to the community. Is about $77,000 that can be allocated toward these 15%. So 20% of that goes toward planning and admin, which is about $103,000, just rounding things up here. And the other is 65% that can go to other activities, which can include economic development, housing rehabilitation, public facility improvement. So that's the other part of it. So this year, if I going to go ahead and switch that slide there, this year we received several applications from nonprofit organization. So we got 9 applications from the public services nonprofit organizations, and we got 1 application here from the economic development in the city. So these applications were graded by a committee, and based on those gradings, I have some recommendations. And once again, these are just recommendations of how the fund can be utilized. But it's up to City Commission to decide which way this funding can go to whichever organization that have applied that are eligible to receive funding through CDBG. So the first one is the police department. The Boynton Beach Police Department has, shelter person and victim of a crime, a violent crime initiative, and this one serves homeless individuals and victim of a crime in the community to be able to provide them immediate, and I say immediate housing. So 1 to 5 nights a stay until permanent housing has been provided to them, either through the rapid rehousing program or through other county services. So the second one is this one recommending to give $35,000. They requested $70,000. So, but last year we gave them $35,000. The program is moving, it's being very successful, and it's assisting individuals. So the second one is the Legal Aid Society. The Legal Aid Society assists, it works with the city to be able to provide the fair housing element, which is a requirement by several grants that we have in the city. So therefore, the Legal Aid Society provide representation to elderly individuals and people that are being discriminated against, providing fair housing workshops here at City Hall, at the community room to the community, to be able to educate them on their rights. So Legal Aid Society is asking for $10,000, and we're recommending to full fund Legal Aid Society with $10,000. So the last one that also based on this score was Feeding South Florida. So Feeding South Florida has a program, Senior Meals Delivery Program, and they are going to provide with the recommendation that is being given to them. 18 senior provide 240 meals each for 1 year. So this one is going to be pretty much bringing them food. The cost of each meal is going to be about $7.24. So that's the other recommendation. And moving on, the next one is for the Economic Development Department. The Economic Development Department wants to provide microenterprise is a grant program given to microenterprises here in Boynton Beach, especially in the target area, CDBG target area, providing them with a grant of up to $20,000 to be able to create jobs into a small business. These small business requirements are that they have to be 1 to 5 employees. And I'm sorry, Commissioner Cruz, go ahead.
No, just when you're done.
Oh, okay, guys. So they're going to provide job training, and one of the requirements for that is that they will be provide a full employment to these low-income individuals. So the next one is the community improvement. So and this one is the limited rehabilitation program. This one provides service to elder and or disabled homeowners. And what we do is we go and provide this rehabilitation to individuals that are elderly, like I mentioned, and we do combine this allocation with the CHIP program. So we can give through the CDBG program up to $30,000 as a grant, and we add another $20,000 from the CHIP program, combining it to a $50,000 grant to elderly and or disabled homeowners where we can do needed repairs. So a lot of homeowners that live on different part of the city are benefiting from this program, and we have done an impact on these homeowners that they can afford to pay for the roof, they can afford to pay for impact windows, accessibility in their homes. So it has been very popular. So we are recommending to put into this program 148,170. So, and then we have the construction coordinator that comes out of this part of the CDBG program that is that cover part of his salary, which is about $90,000. That come out of that 65% part of the grant itself. And lastly, we have the planning and ALMA, which is up to 20% of the grant, so, which is about $103,000, and that is to pay for the planning and administration of the grant itself. If you have any questions, I will more than happy to entertain.
Go ahead, Commissioner Cruz.
Thank you, Mayor. Can you go back to
I'm sorry.
slides?
Let me know where.
Thank you so much. For the first one, the one that's called Micro Enterprise Grant Program,
Yeah.
is there any requirement to have an actual location? Like, one conversation that I've had continuous with multiple local business owners is rent. They're struggling to make ends meet, and, obviously they have limited staff. definitely under 5 employees, but they're paying rent, and that makes a difference from, you know, having a home-based business where you might not be paying rent versus your brick and mortar, and you're paying $8,000 a month for rent, and you really, really need that money. So that was kind of my question.
Yeah, so one of the requirements for this micro enterprise, so number one, that the business themselves have to be located within the CDBG target area. In second requirement over the element of this is that these business that receive this grant should be able to employ individuals that are LMI. So the funds itself can be utilized toward training, providing tools for the individuals that are going to be employed. Let's say, for example, somebody has a AC business, a HVAC business, air conditioning business, and they require the training to be able to become a air tech. So then this grant can provide the individual the training, also can provide them the tool for them to start working and as an incentive to the business. Then the business can give them $10,000 that could go toward the salary, partial salary of the individual they're employing, with the cash that this individual has to be employed permanently for at least 3 to 5 years. So that's what all the requirement. So, and you were talking about rent. Rent could be something that could be done, but if you're thinking about $8,000 in rent, that's not going to take you very far with the amount of money that is given to a business.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope. Thank you, RJ. It's good to see a lot of these come back. I've, seen a lot of these work in real time. And so thank you for everything you do. Candace as well. I know she's in the audience. There she is. I would like to see, I know one of the applicants was iCare with Sea Turtle Adventures. They're asking for $25,000. So what they do is they do a lot of great stuff. And so I would like them to have an opportunity to do a presentation or, maybe reach out to my colleagues to learn a little bit more about them in reference to the iCare program. And I believe it's $25,000.
Yeah, it is definitely. And once again, at this point, what I'm looking for from City Commission here is to get some guidance of how the allocation would like to be. Once again, the recommendation that I did were just recommendation. If City Commission would like to move the funds around and choose one of the eligible applicants in that list there, then that is definitely something that you will have to decide. So you will give me some guidance today, because what's going to happen next on the step on the process is that I will publish a draft of the action plan. And also I will put an ad on the newspaper and the city website and saying this organization are going to get this much based on City Commission recommendations. So that's the next step on the process. Then after that, on August 5th, this program, a plan is going to come back to you after the 30-day public comments, where it's going to be finalized. However, once I publish that draft of the action plan, it's going to lay out where the money is going to go.
Yeah, I would like to see Sea Turtle Adventures for the iCare program added into that.
I do remember receiving an email from them.
thought
Did they
I
request
saw
25,000 or 5,000? Because let me check.
I think it's 25,000.
Yeah, 25,000. Yep.
25,000.
Yep. Yeah, it's right here. So I can, if you have time, if you wanted to hear, I can just read the little synapse that I have here. So the iCare program uses target activity-based learning opportunities to help young adults with ADD stay active, develop physical and mental strength, make healthy lifestyle choices, and learn about self-advocacy. The goals are accomplished through several components of programming. The iCare Day program is held every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Up to 30 adults with ADD attend each day to participate in a diverse range of activities at our Boynton Beach headquarters and through visits with different locations around Palm Beach County. In 2024, the day program was expanded from 2 to 3 days a week to meet demands and allow us to include more individuals from our waiting list. The other main component of iCare is social events. The requested fund is to pay a salary for an outreach, especially for 1 year. We will serve to increase visibility and program participation. So they are asking for $25,000, and they have other funds for this project that accumulates to $40,680. So, but the total project cost is about around $567,680. So they have other in-kind, other resources that I'm bringing into the table. They are asking $25,000.
In what category are they? They're not
So
public services, right?
they are public service.
They are?
They are into the 50% public service, which is $77,000 that is allowed. So if we give them $25,000, then we have the remaining of the funds that can be allocated for other programs. If you want to go with a recommendation of funding the police department, it's $35,000 there. So that will add up to about $60,000, $10,000 that we have to give to Legal Aid Society because, again, there is about $16 million of grant money that we get that requires the fair housing component for the city in order for us to be in compliance.
So you're saying we have 70,000 for public service?
77,000.
77,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I remember in past years, we've given to multiple organizations, but one of them has been Pathway to Prosperity.
Yes.
With the Circles program. I see that in fiscal year '23, we funded them $35,000. And fiscal year '22, we funded them with $55,000. Fiscal year '24, we funded them $35,000. So I do want to add some funding to them as well. I would support the Sea Turtles program as well. I think we just have to figure out the dollar amounts to make sure that we can provide some funding to.
Yeah, for sure. So once again, we have the $10,000 that we are gonna have to give to Legal Aid Society because once again, it's a requirement for us to have the fair housing component. We don't have a fair housing coordinator staff in the city. Therefore, the city is getting that deal out of $10,000, getting that position and fulfilling the grants that require that component in the city. So therefore, that will leave us about $67,000. And so if you want to give some money to each, you can distribute it whichever way you want to do it. If you want to give some money to iCare, you can do that. If you want to give some money to Parkway, Boynton Beach Police Department, that's up to you how you want to distribute it. You have about $67,000 left after Legal Aid Society.
Can we give any of the leftover, can we increase the feeding, the senior meal delivery program with the leftovers? Or is that a max that you have there?
No. So the senior program, Feeding South Florida, so they were requesting, let me go back here to my page here, if you don't mind, please. So Feeding South Florida was requesting double that amount, I believe, back here. So they were requesting $75,000.
Oh,
so,
you're giving them 32.
So
Okay.
I'm giving it 32. So again, it's up to you guys how you want to decide to do that. So.
Okay.
Oh, that's a tough decision.
Yeah, we got some thinking to do.
Yes, sir. So the funds are right now, Pathway Prosperity, out of the $35,000 we gave them, they already spent almost $22,000.
So we don't need to give more.
In the current year. Last year, 2024 is closed. So they spent all of the funds. This year, we gave them $35,000. Right now, they spent around $22,000 so far. So the fiscal year runs from October 1st to September 30. So the year that started right now, 2025, they already spent $22,000 on it.
Also, we have like maybe
They
3
still
months
have-
left or so. Yeah.
So they definitely will spend all the funds. They always do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always do. Everybody does, actually, for that matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we understand that we need to give away $10,000 to be in compliance with Legal Aid Society. So we're going to have to figure out how much to give to each. I would support your request, Commissioner Turkin. As you mentioned, the Sea Turtles nonprofit, I did receive communication from them as well to provide some funding to them. I do want to continue to give to Pathway to Prosperity, a local Boynton organization. And, I would like to give some money to the police department as well for the hotel to pay for, domestic violence and things of that nature. So I don't know where the board stands.
We got to take away from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to,
And we have to juggle with the 67,000 in the public services.
Yes, sir.
We can't pull from those other categories.
You can. Unfortunately, it's a federal regulation, and they allow up to 15% of the annual allocation to go toward public services.
Okay, so maybe we can take the consensus here and at the next meeting have a couple options with what in the July meeting?
The next time this subject come back to commission is going to be on August 5th. It pretty much is just to ratify and adopt the action plan that goes to the feds.
Can it come sooner? You guys have enough time to notice?
Again, I'm on a deadline here. So after this meeting, after you gave me what you want to do with the public services, which is always the fun part, so I will put it out for public comment, 30-day public comment. And that public comment is going to start on June 22nd, I believe, and goes to July, so 30 days. But before that, I do a public notice on the public notice, I details and say it's going to go to which organization, how much to each organization, and it goes on the website as well. So once we put it there, people are counting with that money. So if I bring it back to you and then you say, you know what, I changed my mind and now we're going to do this, so that's something that, yeah, I don't mean you to put you on the spot here, but what we can do, if you like, we can meet one-on-one, but I don't know if I can do that either, but because, again, I need some guidance from you. That's the reason that I brought it here.
So we have to hash this out right now. All right, we got $67,000 to play with. Mayor wants to maintain feeding South Florida. Commissioner Cruz, you want to bring in Pathways of Prosperity. I don't think you provided a number yet. And then I would like to assist Sea Turtles with their Sea Turtle Adventures with the eye care program for $25,000. We're at $67,000 now. What are you proposing to add in for Pathways of Prosperity?
why don't we take the leftover, like obviously legal aid needs the 10K. Why don't we split it in four equal parts? With the PD, Feeding South Florida, Turtles, and Pathway to Prosperity. Take the $67,000 divided by 4, it's a little over $16,000 each.
I think that's a great idea. Do you need a motion? Or is this consensus okay?
This is a discussion item. You can do a motion for direction to staff.
Yeah, you just tell me what you want to do.
Okay, motion for direction to staff to split the public service CDBG funds 4 ways based on the consensus and direction from the commission.
Second.
So, and once again, just to make sure I got this right, so we got PD, Feeding South Florida, Eye Care, and Pathways.
And Pathway to Prosperity, yep.
Okay, so I just gonna split the 67,000 4 ways.
4 equal ways, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Well, we have to vote on it. So we have a motion from Commissioner Turkin and a second from Commissioner Cruz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Melee, 3-0.
And then wait,
Oh,
we have
sorry,
a
3-0.
non-public service
Forgot
part,
about one
right?
more.
We have another part of it, because this is the public service.
Yes, so the other part that I touched on it.
Two parts, there's the public service and then there's the other.
I'm okay with the other activities, so I don't have any additional doubt.
Okay, yeah, the other ones, once again, was proposed to give $100,000 to economic development for micro enterprises, and the remaining of the funds is going to go toward assisting elderly and or disabled individual, and then $90,000 that are going to go toward the partial salary of the construction coordinator.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that.
Okay. Next on the list is a presentation regarding the city signage initiative. Could we please have staff begin the presentation?
Hi, good evening. I'm Danny Michella, Public Affairs Director. I'm very excited to be here again to talk to you about the city's signage program. Mayor Shelton, this will be your first time hearing about this. To give you a brief recap, there's been agreement for some time among the commission and city administration that the city would benefit from a well-planned, coordinated network of signs. I got feedback in November from the commissioners about what they were looking for, what they'd like to see, so I'm back with images of possible signs. Any city has strong incentives to ensure that all of its signs look similar and align with a consistent branding strategy. Well-planned signage can enhance wayfinding and communication, strengthen civic identity and pride, support economic development and tourism, reduce visual clutter, and improve aesthetics, as well as increasing efficiency in maintenance. We have a lot to consider as we plan this network of signs: the cost, location, number, appearance of signs, and city branding. Tonight, we'll talk about 5 types of signs: large entryway signs that say "Welcome to Boynton Beach," smaller median signs that also say "Welcome," wayfinder signs, park signs, and digital signs. After getting good feedback at the November meeting about one particular city's signage, I reached out to that city's vendor and described what we were looking for, shared our branding guidelines, and asked their designers to create some possibilities for us. The signs would align with the city's branding strategy and therefore would coordinate with each other. When signage across the city is uniform in design, consistent fonts, colors, symbols, and layout, it becomes easier for residents and visitors to navigate. People instinctively recognize official signage, quickly understand its meaning, and feel more confident in unfamiliar areas. Consistent signage reinforces the city's identity and visual brand, so people know where they are before even reading the words on a sign. A brief note about branding: it's kind of this big nebulous idea that's tough to define. It's more than just a logo or a slogan. It's determining the uniqueness and feeling of a city. It takes into account things like culture, values, history, and people. For our purposes tonight, we can focus on just one aspect of branding, and that's visual identity. This includes the city seal, the logo, the color scheme, text, and design aesthetics that are covered in our city's branding guide. As you see the images of the signs, please keep in mind that these images are showing us possibilities and options, so you'll see some that are slightly different from others. So this would be one of the large entryway signs. We'd have approximately 4 placed at major entrances into the city. These signs would each be 8.5 feet tall, 15 feet wide. They're made of a custom aluminum mesh background, aluminum letters and symbols on a concrete pedestal. You'll see the images at the top and above Boynton Beach that represent the waves of the Atlantic Ocean or maybe the current of the Gulf Stream.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Was it determined before that we always have the fish? I'm just curious. As a resident, I've always hated the fish. I'm just going to be honest. I'll say it. I'm going to say it. It's okay though. I mean, it's a majority rules here. I just had to ask, are we married to that fish?
Everybody loves the fish. Everybody loves the fish. No, up to you, of course.
Cool with you guys. Okay.
It's completely up to you all.
Been around for a long time.
Exactly.
Yes,
but are we, are we really a fishing town? I mean, not really, but we claim to be in the news. But it's whatever. Tonight's not the night for that.
The mantra.
It's Gateway to the Gulf Stream.
Point of order.
Oh, point of order.
The mantra of this town is gateway to the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is a body of water that runs up along the eastern seaboard, and this makes it one of the most profound sail-fishing destinations in the whole world. And that's why
I
you
guess,
have
but how much
this.
money are we
I
making
understand.
from that?
We can agree to
Not an
disagree.
economic vibe. It's not, it's not keeping the city alive with this sailfish. I mean, let's move on. I just wanted to ask, are we married to the fish
I'm
before
married
we
to
go
the
any
fish.
further?
All right, the letters in Boynton Beach blue and the sailfish would be backlit and frontlit, so the sign would be clearly visible at night. This illustration shows the sign mock-up at Little League Field just east of 95 and Woolbright. You might notice that this background with the waves has blue in it instead of silver on silver. I prefer this, but those are the types of things that we can change. Approximately 8 digital signs dispersed evenly throughout the city would echo the look of the entryway signs with the custom aluminum surrounding upgraded digital screens. As you can see in the image on the left, the lettering and sailfish would also be backlit. That image at the bottom right is just a side view, so you can see how the letters come off the sign, giving it a 3D look. We propose placing approximately 32 of these smaller median signs that you see here dispersed evenly throughout the city. Each is 7.5 feet tall, about 3 feet wide, and 10 inches deep. They'd be put in each direction, north, south, east, west, on major roads leading into and out of the city. Wayfinder signs. These could be used near city property. We have one similar to this outside of City Hall or other popular destinations within the city, and we propose approximately a dozen of these signs. Park signs would be placed at each of the city's 33 parks. The designer gave us two options, one that's 5 feet tall, about 3 feet wide and a foot deep, and another that's slightly larger at 6 feet by 4.5 feet by 14 inches. The ballpark budget for this number of signs would be about $1.5 million. What I would be hoping for tonight is consensus approval to allow staff just to move along with the construction process, get started evaluating locations, with the idea that the sign program would likely be implemented in phases starting next fiscal year. I'm looking forward to your feedback, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I'll let you, okay. You go first. Go ahead, Vice Mayor. I'll chime in after since I'm the new kid on the block.
Just settle down, just go back to the signs. How many signs are we talking?
So,
For
I shouldn't total
for
out.
$1.5 million?
yeah, so it's, I mean, it's a lot of signs. There's 32 median signs. You know, the digital signs are expensive. We're talking about 8 of those. 4 of the large entryway signs, 33 park signs,
33.
and
12.
a dozen wayfinder signs.
The 32 median signs and the city park signs, I think, are horrible. I'm just gonna, it's no offense to you. I think they're
None taken.
atrocious. I do like the welcome
I like
sign.
the fish on the big signs.
I like the
With
welcome.
the medians, it's a little bit,
Yeah,
it's excessive. It throws it off.
yeah, it doesn't, I mean, you know, I hate the fish, but if I have to live with the fish, it's gonna be on the large entry and the possible 8 digital signs, but the rest of, I mean, the 12 signs of, what do you call the last ones?
Wayfinder
Wait,
signs.
yeah, that's good, but the middle 2, I'm like, It's just my opinion.
Now-
You live from the block there.
And this,
Okay, sorry.
in Florida, doesn't blue have a tendency to fade quicker than some of the other, or this a special type of paint or material?
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
So,
What other suggestion? Would you think black? But I think black doesn't brand us enough. If it's gonna be like a durable color, but white or black, I think
I
is
like
the
dark
sun.
blue.
I like
Dark
blue
is my
too.
favorite color, okay? But I'm just, when I look at cars that are blue, they just faded right out, you
Right.
know? I don't want that to happen to $1.5 million dollars worth of signs.
Right,
crazy.
right. No, and they say these are, you know, will be built in such a way that that would not happen.
That would not happen?
For many, many years. And
I agree with the mayor with regard to the smaller signs. I don't love them. I appreciate the effort putting it together. Also, for the digital signs, do we feel like it's a wasteful spending of taxpayer dollars to spend $50,000 to $60,000 a sign for the digital signs? Like, do we really need them to be that special?
For the marquee,
I think.
half of the
For
time they
the-
don't even
for the
work.
That's
digital.
gonna say, I think if we started using them to their, to their full potential, then maybe in some locations, you know, I think
some,
it's worth
yeah.
it, but, you know,
I
if we're
also-
putting something up 2 days before it's happening, or,
Yeah.
you know, I agree with you there. But my question too is, did the company design these? This was their graphic design?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, no offense to the company, and I may be a little tired, but I could design these, right? So like,
Yeah.
I feel like there's no real like graphic design involved in them, and I don't feel like it's changing what I've already been seeing. So I don't think it's popping for, you know, 1.5 mil.
I agree with the mayor.
I see the number as 8 digital signs. I thought the direction was 4 digital signs did we change that to 8?
How many do we
I
have
don't
now?
know. This is the
So-
first time I'm seeing this.
We have one across, we have
Just,
one on
I
Woolbright
have
and one
one
on.
thing before we continue,
Just on
if
this?
I may. So, one thing that we've discussed, and again, previous administration, we've had these discussions, we have new administration now, great. the point is, we wanted a massive, or at least two massive, real nice, huge signs by the entrance of, near I-95 to Boynton Beach Boulevard. Like, I'm thinking if we can go back into the slides, back to, for example, again, everybody has a different opinion and a different taste. But if we see, for example, the ones in the first slide, when I saw Orlando, I was like, wow, that's really cool. Oh. I think the very first slide. Where we got to the
Where
brand.
we're going to Vegas.
Yeah, nice.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So I love the fact that, like, the Orlando one looks really nice. I understand our city's name is very long, City of Boynton Beach. Okay, it's very long. But could we do something cool like that? Like, I love the fact that we have, like, Miami Beach, look at Electric City, very cool. We're not gonna do that, but interesting stuff, different stuff. I feel like I agree with the mayor 100%. Like, I don't think that it's like the most artistically viable, or I don't think that like, if we're gonna spend $1 million on signs, like, let's get one big marquee sign at least getting off 95 on Boynton Beach Boulevard, if you all agree, and make it huge. Like, for example, like Orlando, like, that looks really cool. That's like not that it has to be that style, but I'm saying something bigger, like something huge.
That's a couple $1 million.
Yeah, that's, but wait,
Yeah,
hold on.
I just think when it
Hold on
comes
one
to the
second.
design of it, though, I mean, they gave us one option.
One option. And it's the same colors, and it's like, one more thing I beg to differ. For example, look at Key West. Like, they have that one sign. They don't need to get 100,000 of them, right? But they have that one sign, and that's like a point where people come in and take pictures, and it's like a destination. Why don't we have at least one nice one where people can come and, have a destination?
Beach.
Like a big one,
For the
Selfies.
grant.
What I hear too is 3D versus
Uh-huh.
just flat, like if you look at Orlando, that's 3D. 3D. You look at Miami Beach, it's 3D. Maybe have, maybe 2 or 3 like that, and then like Angela Cruz was just saying, have something else, but have the 3D ones that stand out, like on Federal or the ends of East and West, Boynton. I could see that, but around.
Look at Hollywood. Like, it's just a simple word. I don't know. I just,
Yeah, that's
I feel
on
like
a
we could have.
mountain too.
No, for sure. I get it. But like, I'm talking Orlando, Hollywood, like, it's huge, right? And it's like, can we get one huge sign that is like the one, right? You
I
get
guess
up
the
Boynton
question
Boulevard.
would be doing it on
Yeah.
Boynton and 95 while we have that nasty hotel. That would be something we'd have to rip it up and put it in again if that starts to change there. So we might want to think about our location. So that's something, I'm going to step out of my mayor hat here and say, as a citizen, I always thought we were ahead of doing this stuff when we have new development coming downtown and we're trying to rebrand the city and we have to do anything. So we can create this right now, and in a couple of years, our whole images is going to be completely different in this city. So it concerns me spending and all. I get that we need some signs, but I think these, again, I could do those on a regular Chat GPT or something. I wish they gave me a little more pizzazz on design.
I also think too, we widened the scope for these impact fees, like beautification being one of them, and I think signage also, I think.
You mean the art fee?
Art fee, you're right. So like, maybe we don't have to come out of the general fund, right? Like, maybe what the mayor's saying is, this city's going to change. There's, a handful, maybe 2 handfuls of projects already in permitting approved that are gonna pay into this, right? Hopefully, instead of providing their own. And then I think there's leverage there where, you look at different signs, different places, Maybe it's not a fish on 95 and Gateway, you know what I mean? By the marina, I think it'd be cool. I think it's fitting.
Yes.
I agree.
right?
Yes.
Over there, yes.
Yes.
In our CRA plan, inner city plan, there's different districts. There's a medical district, marine district, things like that. And so, I like some of them, the medium ones, again, but I think maybe this conversation happens later down the road. But thank you, Danny, so much,
Thank
and
you.
for all the hard work.
It really looks good, but maybe we need some Boynton Beach citizen input. Survey of some kind to get.
It'd be better if we had better
Their
suggestions to offer them,
need-
because
we
we're
need
gonna get
options before we
60
send a
different
survey.
suggestions, but if we
No,
had
but we can narrow
5.
that down. That's
Right,
easy.
and
That's an easy
provide them
task.
5 more, but.
Maybe when we get together and soon, maybe if we have a workshop, we can tag on like an hour or two and kind of
you
do
go.
a charrette style
Yeah.
thing, so we can kind of.
We do that with everything else
Garner
of this
some
nature.
feedback from the commission.
And I agree with Commissioner Turkin when you talked about impact fees and like the art fee. This is art.
This is very.
This is
yeah.
absolutely art, and this would be the entryway to our city, so I would definitely support
That's what
using
Delray
our
did
funding
on
to
their
do.
entryway. They
Yeah.
have public art
Can
coming
we
in.
look at Delray and see, I mean, at the pictures here, and like, also for, if we go back to the options for the parks, can we also see in that presentation what we currently have? Because I haven't been to the park in a while, and I completely forgot, like, I know I've been to, for example, in my district, like Barrier Free all the time, but I can't recall at this very moment what the signs look like. So do we, and the reason for the question is, do we necessarily need to buy more, like newer signs for all the parks? Or is it, or can we focus our bigger ticket items in like a huge marquee signs that are
You're
gonna
gonna
be?
develop Boynton 95 where that hotel is. Why
Yeah,
not
we
make a
can't do
part of
that
a
yet.
contract when the developer has to pay for the sign?
It does go back to branding. And I
Right.
think that that's something that collectively we need to educate ourselves as commissioners and come to a decision on that of the direction of, because I agree, we can be the marina can be the fish, but we're not that sleepy fish town, right? And sometimes that's the image that we're getting. But, your graphic designer, woo to him for going one color. I'm just okay. So can we move on this one? How do we move on?
For context, Mayor, this was the former mayor's spearheaded initiative, so.
Oh, okay.
This is a carry-on.
It seems like it's very old school,
Yeah.
right? And we've been having it for a while,
Yep,
and,
yep.
I mean,
I like
you're
the
probably the
Orlando
only one that's caught a sailfish up here.
I think
Maybe
Woodrow's
in the
probably
room.
caught a sailfish.
I don't know, Woodrow, you
There's
catching some
some
sailfish?
I
things-
support the selfish in certain locations,
Certain
yeah.
locations.
I support this.
I just want that big
fish
Orlando
because-
sign, Boynton.
Let me tell you something.
gotta
Boynton
We could
is
change
going-
colors. If it's like Memorial Day, Independence Day, we could make it like.
I believe I was mayor
patriotic,
when
and
we
if
had
it's like
this
Valentine's Day,
go
we could
outside.
make it pink, and if it's like St. Patrick's Day, we can make it green, like.
Okay, let's, one
so
person
you
at
can
a
put
time,
it
let's
in.
rein it in, and let's get to discuss, after you, we're gonna go on to this
No, I
conference
was
thing.
just going to say, I believe I was mayor during that time. We had the city branded, and we hired a company to go out and find what is the uniqueness of Boynton Beach. And they came back with this city, of all the cities on the East Coast, being the closest to the Gulf Stream from Maine all the way down.
I agree with
It comes
that.
the closest to here. So all I'm saying is, there's certain things about this city that's not going to change. We don't need to lose that. We need to enhance it. Maybe if you want something different, we can consider that. But there's certain things that are not going to change. We have a lot of people come down here and go out on Two George's boat to go fishing, okay? Because of that, they know that the Gulf Stream come close to the Boynton. But anyway, I just feel that we're on the right track. We just need to kind of narrow it down. I don't have a problem with the impact fees because it is art. I don't have a problem with getting additional input because it doesn't take a little while just to narrow it down. Just have, like we've done on many projects that we've had here in Boynton. We get the community input and we just narrow it down almost right then. And we go from there. So I don't want to, some of these I like and some of them I don't.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I'm not throwing the fish out the window. I'm just saying it just looks a little cheap sometimes.
We
Maybe
could
if it was
make
done
for
better.
locations, like by the marina.
Right, and I think when I campaigned, I said multiple times, we basically live in two different areas, right? And Commissioner Turkin and Kelly has one place, and then we're in the east, and it's different branding, it's different people, and they do different things. So, I think I need to pause on this one.
Do you have anything in mind?
Not yet.
Okay.
I like the Orlando sign.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
But I'll start looking
We'll-
too,
we'll
like, I
come
think
back.
we all
We'll come
should be
back.
observant.
How big is it?
You
If we
know,
can find
of
out
when
how
we're-
large, like
Oh,
the
it's
size,
that's pretty big.
and
need
if
any
it was an equal
direction?
size to
Okay,
Boynton, like
so-
what
Have
that
we
would look like,
totally-
how big it would
Motion
be.
to
Okay,
adjourn.
nope, we have to discuss
we
the
have one more item.
conference.
Oh, that's right, that's
Let's
right.
discuss this conference and
That's
then we
right.
can adjourn.
Now, and then there's a budget adoption on the
No,
item
it-
now?
Meeting. That's what we're looking for is
Did we
that,
totally confuse you?
Yeah. Is there any
Thank you.
specific direction to staff on that, other than to come back? with-
I'm good at that. I have direction. I know,
Okay.
I have an idea what we're gonna do.
Good, good.
All right, so the next one is the,
Next item.
So we
Discuss.
have we have the budget meeting that's coming up
Yep.
for September 16th.
So we need to
The
change
county
the
commission
meeting.
has their budget meeting the same day, which we cannot do. So we
September.
need to propose a new date. The 17th would be available, but you have the IEDC conference, which now, if you guys go and we don't have a quorum, then we're gonna be stuck. So we need to know kind of if who's going, we have a quorum on the 17th, or whether we'd have to shift it to maybe the 18th, which would then give us a quorum.
What is in Detroit?
The International. Yeah, which I think we have some awards we've submitted for that.
Sometimes we get awards
Well, I'll be celebrating somebody's birthday on the 16th, so I'll be
Your birthday?
available on the 18th. No,
Oh, your birthday.
more important.
she is more important.
Aw.
I didn't say your age now.
So who goes to this
Anyway,
conference?
I haven't received any sort of interest in any of the commission going to the IADC, so
That's
but
not
I didn't
true.
know about it until today.
Where's that,
Detroit.
Yeah, I
where's that
didn't know
gonna
about
be
it until
held?
today.
it's going to be in
I,
Detroit, Michigan.
It's in Detroit. IEDC is the same one from Dallas, same conference, the International Economic Development.
I know which conference it is,
Yeah,
I just,
it's in Detroit,
I'm looking at the
September. I do
website.
plan on going. I've talked to Adam about it, talked to our commission aide about it. Typically the CRA
Right.
item, right? So I think, I'll be there. I don't mind doing it in the meeting on the 18th, but I do plan on going.
I think we scheduled the meeting on the 18th. It'll eliminate any conflict, even with the conference.
yes.
Okay, so
yes,
let's just do it
yes.
Thursday, the 18th.
18th,
Good to go.
Motion to
Okay.
adjourn.
consider it done.
Okay, and we have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner
So moved.
Turkin.
Second.
Second from Vice Mayor Hay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes unanimously with no further business to discuss. This meeting is adjourned at 9:41 PM. Is it two or one?